Current quick time in practice right now is an 18.168. Then the slowest time in this session is an 18.989. So things very, very tight up and down the field. Mid-pack pace is about 18.3s, and that'll be putting you at about 20th or 30th pace. So there's really nothing in it when you get around up and down this field, Ben. A lot of close people in terms of lap time.
Yeah, it's a lot of close times, and as we watch the track right now, one thing about Knoxville, usually this early in the night, it's still got a lot of moisture in the middle of the racetrack. You see how dry it is in the middle, and that makes me believe this is going to be a different racetrack than you used to see at Knoxville. It may not be top dominant, it might not be bottom. We might see those guys that can really run the bottom, the top, and slide across that middle. But again, this racetrack looks a lot different than what you'd expect to be early in the evening at Knoxville Raceway.
Definitely does. As laps continue to tick off here, a lot of the familiar names that you guys might be used to seeing, like the Dylan Fox, Leading Peanut, Jason Minot, they're the top three. Tyler Hudson's up there in the top few names. Justin Norwood, you got Mike McKinney, Austin Carr, Matthew McKinney, got the likes of Mike Molnar, Virgil Graham, and a lot of other talented names throughout this field. Still just waiting for them to advance the server here in just a couple of moments, as I believe they're waiting on an answer for me. And of course, that's the, well, my bad, as all I'll say on that one is time continue to work their way through here. Just looking to see if anyone goes a little bit quicker here in the closing stages. This track is getting beat up more and more, Ben, as guys go over it. Lap times are pretty much going to drop. Session gets advanced. We're going to be going to qualifying here in just a couple of moments.
Yeah, you're not going to see the track improving much, as you said, as we get closer to qualifying. And interesting tonight, you got the aces from the iRacing world, and then you got the real track veterans, the Mike McKinneys of the world, the Ricky Thornton Juniors. And it's going to be interesting to see the real world meeting the virtual world. Who gets bragging rights tonight, as it looks like we're getting set for qualifying.
Qualifying gets set, and people are going to begin rolling out. As always, it's going to be 2-lap qualifying, solo qualifying, but cars will be on track somewhat simultaneously, taking the advantage of the virtual world. We cut down what would normally be about an hours-long process to just a few minutes here. We'll just go and try to get working and watching with some of the fastest guys that were in practice and try to hook up with them. Tyler Hudson, he's rolling out for his first outlap right now. He's going to be someone we go to check in with. Austin Carr is on his outlap, working through 3 and 4. Going to be coming to the Tommy Beam here at Knoxville here in just a moment. So we're going to ride on board with this number 1 machine as he works down the front straightaway here at Knoxville. Starts his hot lap in towards 1 and 2. See, running that top side, gets the back end of that car right up against that outside wall, then works himself down the back straightaway in that Dirtco Media House sponsored number 1 Corvette brand on the nose. Works through 3 and 4, gets down to the middle of the racetrack. Let's see what this first hot lap is going to be as he comes through. It's going to be good for an 18.846. Going to put him 4th quickest right now. Current fastest time belongs to Rocky Battenfield, an 18.770. So a lot of time has come out of this racetrack between practice and qualifying. His car is going to go another lap here through corners number 3 and 4. Let's see if he can find another 10th or so. Comes across the time beam, and he will barely improve a thousandth of a second. It's not going to be really much improvement at all.
And the interesting thing about Rocky Battenfield, the only driver that's won one of these spring flings, and where did he win it? Knoxville Raceway back in 2005.
So a long time running is what this series has had. Still a number of drivers we need to see do times. Tyler D. Hudson, he's working on his first hot lap right now. NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series champion, so you know this guy's going to be quick. 19.141 is the first lap, and I don't think Tyler's going to be happy with that. Very competitive guy in that yellow and white ADA Zine car machine. As he works himself top side 3 and 4 once again, doesn't quite get to the middle of the racetrack the way Austin Carr was, and let's see how that's going to work out for him. He's going to go to 18.726, so a pretty significant improvement. That's going to put him 3rd quick, 4th quick, as Thomas Carberry just puts in time. That's just immediately falling as more and more people are putting in hot laps. Norwood, Graham, McKinney, both McKinneys actually, they put them 3rd and 4th. Everyone just answered within about 2 or 3 seconds right after Tyler's lap.
Yeah, how about Matthew McKinney outdoing his brother Mike McKinney for that 3rd spot, and now Virgil Graham goes 3rd on the leaderboard. That's right, another heavy hitter. And how about that Virgil Graham to the top of the leaderboard, and he gets knocked off by Dylan Fox. Times are picking up here in qualifying.
Times picking up. Dylan Fox working in a 2nd lap, currently 4 thousandths ahead of Virgil Graham for that top spot. Works the top groove once again through 3 and 4, a little bit lower than we've seen some drivers. Then he cuts it down in the middle on exit. That's going to allow him to get a good run off, and he does improve by a few thousandths, and that's going to open that gap up to just over 100th of a second that he has over Virgil Graham. Really make things difficult for guys trying to outdo him. Let's see if there's any drivers still out there on track doing qualifying times. Jeremy Thornton's on a lap right now. He's working the top through 3 and 4 in that number 18 car. comes off of corner number 4, and let's see what he will improve to. He's going to pick up a couple tenths, goes into an 18.873. Still have Kilinowski and Mark Molnar, who owes us a couple times.
Just a few drivers left to go. And how about Dylan Fox? He was the fastest driver in the practice. He's the fastest one in qualifying. He is coming out of the box, both guns blazing here tonight at Knoxville Raceway.
So it definitely pays to be quick in practice. Right now, Mark Molnar, he's out on the track right now, starting his first hot lap in that number 17 VLR machine. Everyone running the top right now in practice and in qualifying. That bottom groove, I think, due to the long warm-up session, Ben, has pretty much been killed. I think we're going to see a lot of upper groove racing throughout this, at least this session tonight before things get advanced. Actually, the qualifying session will come to an end, so Molnar will not get his lap done, and we're going to be starting gridding heat racing here in just a moment.
About Dylan Fox, 18.553, tonight's fast qualifier here in the second set for the servers here tonight for the Spring Fling. And again, as we said, fastest car that we saw in hot laps. Heat race grids are coming up. And again, how important are these heat races going to be? Nobody wants to have to go to a B main right off the bat.
Yeah, no one wants to have to go to a B main, and also the likes, I mean, here, just in this first qualifying race, you have likes of D, C mains that you might have to potentially run your way through. As we're going to get the grid for your first heat race coming up on your screen right now. As we've talked about, Dylan Fox, quickest in practice, quickest in qualifying. He will start on the inside of that front row in heat race number 1. Matthew McKinney will start alongside with Mike Molnar and Dylan Hauser making up row number 2. Row 3 will belong to Austin Carr and Dylan Wilson, with Richard Spar and Jacob Hilburn on row number 4, with Matt Everts and Peter Coberly on row number 5. So 10 cars, and only 3 of them will be advancing directly to the feature of this first race. Again, the feature in this server is a qualifying race. It is not the big main event tonight. That's going to be the thing to watch here tonight, Ben, is the fact that it's going to be a lot of hard work just making the feature, even in one of these 2 servers. There's 2 of these qualifying servers up. Making the feature in one of those is going to be an achievement in and of its own right. Nonetheless, potentially making the field for the big show later on.
Yeah, you know, in these heat races, you're going to see very, very aggressive driving early in it because nobody wants to go to the B mains. You definitely, you got to get into the feature now if you're going to get into the main event later. You want to get in out of the heat race. These first few laps are going to be very entertaining, especially on a racetrack that is starting to change. You see the black getting wider and wider, the slicks getting wider. I'm still going to say, as these races go on, that top's going to be good, but I think you'll see the bottom come in as well.
That's definitely going to be something to see, and it's going to be, I think, even a little bit less of the bottom coming in and more of the top just going away, at least the way it looks like right now, because that bottom doesn't look particularly healthy at the moment and definitely not too appealing. But this place is going to get absolutely ravaged over the course of these heat races and the qualifying main events a little bit later on. Field works themselves down the back straightaway past that National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, then right on by the Brian Clausen Suite. Outside of corner number 2, inside corners number 3 and 4, we're going to wait for that iRacing safety truck to duck down to the safety of pit lane, and then the field will be in the command of Dylan Fox, who'll be able to let him loose coming off that 4th corner. 999 machine, he's going to waste no time, gets on it early. We are green here at the Spring Fling, heat race number 1, and Dylan Fox wastes no time going up down to the top side as Mike Molnar, he's going to work himself down to the bottom of the 999 machine. A little bit of an issue, going to lose a lot of spots down the back straightaway.
Well, the issue was he got punted, and now he's hard into the turn 3 wall, and just like that, your fast qualifier, heavy damage. Wow, what a change of fate for your fast qualifier.
He's going to have to do it the hard way this evening, and that's going to make the leading driver in this heat race for now, the number 41 of Dylan Hauser. Austin Carr is in second. You're going to have the 156 machine of Mike Molnar running third. Few drivers here working themselves forward. Austin Carr, Mike Molnar, they're going to fight. Molnar has to lift way out of it and look to potentially see the 80 machine of Dylan Wilson get brought into this first heat race as we're working lap number 3 of 10, but out in front the 41 machine is broken away and they're spanning out nearly 3 wide through 3 and 4 for that last transfer spot.
3 wide, 4 cars going after 2 spots for 2nd through 5th back there. Meanwhile, Hauser, a winner last week at Volusia Speedway Park, drives away from him. Austin Carr in 2nd, but he's under fire from Molnar. Good battle for spots 2 and 3.
The fights now picking up. Here's the 80 machine of Dylan Wilson. He wants to transfer from this first heat race, and he's lurking by the back now It's Dylan Wilson lurking on the 156 of Mike Molnar. Austin Carr still slightly ahead, but definitely not safe. 156, a little bit of a hiccup. Booth 1 and 2 got a little bit loose to the middle of the corner. That's going to bring Dylan back into this. Is going to be cross flags at the timing being this time through in heat race number 1. As 156 machine rolls through the middle of the racetrack, trying to keep Dylan Wilson at bay to transfer through this first heat race. Top side through 1 and 2 that we typically see in the 80 machine have the run. Look at him get that momentum off the corner, and he's going to take a look down to the bottom, try to pull alongside. They both try to run through the slick. The 156 not as confident. That's to bring Dylan Wilson wheel to wheel as they come down the front straightaway.
Molnar shoved through the turns. That pushed him up the track, and you see right there sliding up through the middle, slide job. No, it's going to be Dylan. Molnar hold on to the spot. Dylan Wilson's right there with him, and don't look now, but McKinney reeling him in as well. Good battle for that third and final transfer.
Work themselves down the front straightaway once again. The 80 machine of Wilson gets a big run off of corner number 4. And then towards 1 and 2, they're going to come. The 80 machine of Dylan Wilson is going to try to slide up in front of the 156, and he does it, but he gets a little bit of a tap. Matthew McKinney, he gets into that 156 machine, and Molnar goes from a transfer spot to 2 spots off the bubble as the 97 McKinney now is lurking on the back of that number 80 of Dylan Wilson. But Dylan has a bit of speed, and he's going to try to run away from Matthew here in the closing laps.
Out front, Hauser will lead by a second. He is driving away from the field, and we've seen a lot of good cars go by the wayside in this one. His laps are ticking away. Austin Carr in second, Wilson in that third and final transfer.
The great opening heat race there in heat race number 1. As Dylan Hauser ended up winning it. Austin Carr and Dylan Wilson, your top 3 8-lap heat races here. I think myself and Ben losing track a little bit. Matt McKinney takes that 4th spot. Mike Molnar in 5th with Matthew Everts, Richard Spar, Peter Corberly, Jacob Halburn. Those 9 cars are your finishers, and the driver, I think the big talking point from that first heat race, Ben, Dylan Fox going out early in that heat race. He's going to have to come through the entirety of this field to even be able to qualify for the spring fling this year.
How about your 3 transfers? They start 4, 5, and 6. Dylan Hauser, Austin Carr, Dylan Wilson. Wow, what action. We talked about it. It's going to be aggressive early and often here tonight as we get ready for Heat 2.
So heat race number 2 getting itself set, and this is an all-star field as well. Virgil Graham going to be bringing him to green with Zach Rounds in 2nd, Thomas Carberry, Justin Chapman row number 2, Jeremy Thornton and Blaze Deckert on that 3rd row, Brandon Bolton, Bradley Hindman, and Matthew Hearn and DJ Kilinowski going to be the 10 cars coming through here. Interestingly enough, that number 15 machine of DJ Kilinowski, Ben, did not get a qualifying time, so he's just sort of took a token spot at the bottom of the timing sheets. That 15 car might have some pace that no one has seen just yet tonight.
I agree, and the key thing is not to get caught up in one of these melees. There's going to be contact in front of you. You just got to make sure you're not part of it so you can have a chance to move on to the main event.
So down towards start-finish. Field in command right now of the iRacing safety truck, but it's going to be in the command of Virgil Graham here in about 30 seconds time. Field is greenlit to take the to go green flag racing through the middle of corners number 3 and 4. That is when they are told the pole sitter has the ability to get on the go pedal as per race control and the rule book for this VLR Spring Fling. Again, this is the 11th annual running of this, so it's been running across multiple sims and it has a lot of history within the dirt sim racing community. But this iRacing safety truck is going to peel off, and the 8-lap heat race number 2 is going to be getting set in just a couple of moments. And who's going to be the 3 people who bring it home in this one? Green flag flies. 42 of Virgil Graham wastes no time, but he needs to be worried because the pole sitter in heat race 1, he didn't even make it as they're fanning out 3, nearly 4 wide through 1 and 2 for the first time. Seeing people starting to experiment with that bottom side already.
Good run for Graham, 3 car lengths. He'll go 3 wide from his 2nd spot. Hang on to it. Zach Rounds up top. He'll run 2nd on lap 1. Digging low on the bottom side. Chapman on the move. Good battles back in the pack as we work lap number 2.
What a start from the 18 to Jeremy Thornton. Rolled off 5th. He's already up 1 spot and nearly nosed his way into the 3rd position as the 947 machine and Carberry working the top. A little bit of a hiccup, and that forces them 3 wide for a moment. A lot of guys struggling here as they run through 3 and 4, and that's going to allow Jeremy Thornton to squeak into that transfer position. 947. He's going to fight back down, though. That's Thomas Carberry going to just about slide in front. The 18 gets back down to the inside and slips away.
Good battle right now. Thornton's got the spot. Carberry with the slider couldn't make it stick, and now here comes Hearn joining the battle. Lots of good racing as these guys are trying to race into the main event. Brandon Bolton in the fold as well. Meanwhile, out front, it's Virgil Graham checking out.
Virgil doing his best to run away. 0.8 of a second advantage over the 29 of Zach Rounds, who's a second and a half away from this 18 machine of Jeremy Thornton. And then you go back a few more cents. You have Brandon Bolton and Thomas Carberry. That's really the first fight among your race leaders. As they're going to come together through the middle of 3 and 4. Well held by both drivers. And down through 1 and 2, they're going to roll once again. You see everyone picking different lines. Some people liking to be more up against the wall. Other people really kind of sliding the edge of that slick just a little bit more confidently. 94.7 to Carberry. Going to work down to the middle groove. Doesn't quite carry the momentum he needs, but he's still going to get a good run here with 3 laps left. We got a car around in 3 and 4.
Carberry's going to fall back to the 5th spot. He started 3rd. Meanwhile, your front row guys checking out, and Thornton, the guy that goes 5th to 3rd in that final transfer, with the laps ticking away in heat race number 2.
2 laps to go. They come off that 4th corner, and it's all Virgil Graham and Zach Rounds out in front. Rounds is doing a good job, though, the last couple of laps to reel in that 42 car. So Virgil can't be overly confident right now. The 1-2-4 of Brandon Bolton sits in that 4th spot. He's still trying to hold off the likes of Carberry and Chapman behind and try to get as good of a starting position as he can later in this evening. But white flag waves in heat race number 2, the 42 of Virgil Graham. He is going to be dealing closely with the 29 of Zach Rounds, who has really caught up a lot in the last couple laps, into 3 and 4 for the final time. I don't think we're going to see too much of a risk from either of these guys trying to pick this up, but the 29 of Zach going to try to work the bottom, not going to get there. They're going to run as they finish, as they run, with Jeremy Thornton to bring you up that 3rd and final transfer spot through heat race number 2.
Well, Virgil Graham's going to take the win in car 42. The driver that comes to us out of Pennsylvania, Zach Rounds in 2nd. As you said, Jeremy Thornton comes from 5th to 3rd for that final transfer spot. Two heat races in the books, heat race 3 sitting and staging.
Staging right now, that 3rd heat race, and, well, it seems like we're just not running out of big names to grid these heat races. Justin Norwood, Josh Phillips, they're going to be on the front row starting heat race number 3 with Tyler Hudson, Adam Elby starting the row behind them. Row 3, Kyle Stevens and Dennis Potridge, with Eric Tupper and Dalton Connor starting row 4. Then you have Keith Hackey and Mark Moeller rounding out this one. Another driver who did not get a qualifying time, Ben. That number 17 machine could be awfully quick.
Yeah, he could be. You know, we saw in the last heat race that Kilinowski had to come from the back. He got all the way up to about position number 6 or 7. But as you said, no invert tonight. A lot of good cars in front of you. We'll see what the guys in the back can do.
It's going to make things really difficult for these guys moving forward, Ben. The fact that, you know, a lack of an invert, we've seen that in some of the other series we've broadcasted here on RaceSpotTV, and it tends to spice up the racing and the heat racing for a general league. But for a special event like this, the amount of talent that tends to turn up is so much higher that you don't need an invert. I mean, you talk about the last 2 heat races, people who started 5th, 6th in line have transferred their way to the main event already.
Yeah, and what happens, you do that invert, and it actually just penalizes. You put guys in front of you, you put 3 guys in front of you that could win the features, so there's no reason to go out and really lay it out there in your qualifying. So I definitely like the heads up tonight. So many big names. South Carolina, Kentucky on the front row of this one. Battle of the States. Well, first 2 have been good. What will heat race number 3 hold for us?
That's going to be an interesting thing for sure. Also getting word that Dylan Wilson, the 80 machine, one of the drivers we saw transfer from that first heat race, well, as came possibly on the back of an incident, and race control has assessed an EOL at the beginning of his next race. He's not going to be liking that, but that's somewhat tough, and he's going to have to deal with it. But with that said, field works themselves toward corners number 3 and 4. It'll be interesting to see what we can make happen here in this one as the field works themselves in. Heat race number 3. Getting ready to come at you right now. Justin Norwood in command of the field. He wastes no time, but it's a good reaction for the 01 of Tyler Hudson. He's going to go wheel to wheel with Josh Phillips in towards 1 and 2. And heat race number 3 fully underway as they're 3 wide off that second corner.
It's Norwood and Phillips leading the way, but behind them, action picking up Tyler Hudson right there. Adam Elby as well. They were 3 and 4 wide through turns 1 and 2. The leader of lap number 1 as they worked around. That was Norwood, but now he's under fire. Battle for the lead. Here comes Josh Phillips.
Norwood did lead lap number 1, but it's only by 1100s. Phillips had the lead through 1 and 2, but the 4 machine quickly takes it away. So Norwood back to the point as Tyler Hudson is now very close to that number 6 machine. There doesn't seem to be a safe spot right now up amongst the front of the field. They swap it back and forth. Norwood's going to lead the second lap of 8 as here comes the 28 of Kyle Stevens. He wants to work to the bottom as Hudson somehow muscles his way around the top. Around the 6 of Phillips, there's going to be a big pile up nearly down the back straightaway. I don't know how all these cars are still pointing forward. Somehow the 01 machine holds on to that second spot for now, but the 6 of the 28, 3 wide. Down start finishing towards 1 and 2.
How about that? Here comes the 6 of Phillips from out of the show into the second spot. Back to his inside. Here comes Hudson. Kyle Steffens in the fold as well. The modified ace in car 28. Meanwhile, Justin Norwood checking out saying, have at it, boys. Great race for positions 2, 3, and 4.
The 4 machine is loving this as they're halfway in heat race number 3. 6 machine of Josh Phillips now semi-comfortable in that second spot, but for how long? The 28 goes to throw a big slider on Hudson, but it's not going to stick. Tyler will hold on to that bubble spot for now, but that 28 car has been madly aggressive over the course of this one. Bit of contact once again coming from Kyle Stevens. I think Kyle might have the pace here, Ben, as the race starts closing its way down, but I don't know if Tyler is going to make a mistake and let that 28 through.
Well, Kyle Steffens may have one more slide job up his sleeve, and look at that, there's a block by Tyler Hudson. He knew where he was going to go. Might not matter. Here comes Steffens side by side for third as they race around down the back straightaway.
2 laps remaining in heat race number 3. The 4 machine is well out in front, starting to make a little bit of mistakes. And the 28 car slides the 01 to Tyler Hudson, and that's going to put him into the transfer spot. But you know that 01 car is going to be aggressive, trying to get back there. A little bit of contact, 2, 3, and 4, as these guys are really racing themselves more than they're racing the track. Definitely say the lines are taking. Not quite ideal. Through 1 and 2 for the final time in this heat race, and who's it going to be who takes the final couple transfer positions? They work themselves down the back straightaway. Justin Norwood slowly getting caught by the 6 machine of Josh Phillips, but he should be all right. And it's going to be the 28 of Kyle Stevens who's able to hold on to that transfer spot in heat race number 3.
What a race in heat race number 3. Tyler Hudson comes up just short in car 01. Kyle Steffens, the modified ace in car 28, takes the third and final transfer. Then it's Josh Phillips in second. And your winner, Justin Norwood. He capitalized on that pole starting spot. He wins it. That was a good one right there.
Heat race number 3, top 3, as we said, Norwood, Phillips, Stevens, and then followed out by Hudson, Elby, Connor, Hackney, Molnar, Portridge, and Eric Tupper. 4th heat race, penultimate heat race, 4th of 5 we have coming at you. Again, more big names up and down this one. Shane James will going to be taking the pole position here in heat race number 4 with Jason Minat on the outside of that front row. Rocky Battenfield and Eric Hugh on row number 2. Rob Schaefer, Ryan Gaunt, row 3. Chris Wolford and Luke Chowning, row 4. Bringing up the back to 967 of Kevin Forcier.
Well, as they line up in this one, we talked about it. Battenfield, the only driver to win one of these spring flings, entered here this year, and he won back in 05 Knoxville Raceway. A little bit different setup, though. See what he can do as he starts third on the grid. And Shane James, fast drivers, had a lot of bad luck the past few weeks. Cannot wait to see what he can do in this one.
Luck is definitely a hugely determining factor here. We've seen a couple of times drivers get caught on the wrong side of that. It's really caught out a number of people. Got to think of that first heat race where saw pole sitter on the night come away with a last place finish in that heat race. That was Dylan Fox. No one has really mimicked that just yet, thankfully, as the field works themselves through corners number 1 and 2, and I think that's going to be working in the back of Shane James's mind as they try to keep their way moving forward and get themselves transferring to that feature event in this server to get themselves a chance to qualify for the Spring Fling feature in just a couple of hours. The field heads towards 3 and 4. Ben's going to bring us to green.
Well, that's going to be the border wars in this one. Indiana, Illinois, your front row. Shane James, Jason Minot, side by side. 8 laps the distance, top 3 of the main event. 4th and final heat race. Pace truck's going to pull to the infield out of turn number 4. James punches the throttle. He's on it. They'll work out a 4 down the front straightaway. Great start by Shane James. He takes him into 1 and 2. Minot right there behind him. 3 wide for third.
3 wide, they're fanning out. 4th is what it's going to turn into, as on the outside, Eric Hughes able to scramble away. 93 machine is going to do battle with the 097 as they work themselves side by side. 2 quarters number 3 and 4. This will be for the 4th spot, and it's going to be Rocky Battenfield who catches the outside wall. He's about to be clear, but that little bit of a hiccup is going to cost him dearly.
Out front, Shane James, your leader. He's got company. Your top 3 want to keep it clean and green right now. They know they just want to get off into the main event. Behind them for position number 4, you got Schaefer right there doing battle along with Battenfield. Good battles back there. There are literally 6 cars going after the 4 spot as they work off into turn 3.
practically 2x2 as they head off to the first couple corners. A little bit of an issue, and that's going to cause them to get them three wide down this back straightaway. The 097's in the wall, and we're not going to get a big pile up, but that's going to stack them up a little bit as Schaefer is going to continue fighting with that 120 of Ryan Gaunt as they head down the start finish. And we've lost this little bit of a 6-car gaggle, but I think that's going to end up getting us some clean racing. The top three continue to break away, pretty much not harassing each other whatsoever.
It's Ryan Gaunt up into the 4 spot. Now he's got to make up ground in a hurry. Laps ticking away in this one past the halfway mark out front. Jason Minot, your leader. He's taking it away from Shane James. Eric Huff right now in that third and final transfer as they run
themselves through corners number 3 and 4 once again. And for that 4th spot, the fight is still continuing. The 93 of Rob Schaefer looking down to the bottom on Ryan Gaunt. And he's going to be able to pick that spot up for now. But look at the run that the Ryan's getting from that top side to try to work his way around on that high groove. But starting to go away. Not quite as hot, not quite as slick as we've been able to see it thus far on the 93 machine, finding good speed down on the bottom.
Meanwhile, we got one more time around the speedway. Minot, your leader. Shane James losing ground. Eric Huff trying to close in on him as they work around to come back to the checkered flag. Looks like Minot's going to take the win in heat race 4.
Minot, he's still there out in front with a lap and some change left. Heat race number 4. He's going to work through corners number 3 and 4, able to stretch out a big margin over Shane James. With Rob Schaefer, he's going to continue running in that 4th spot. Battle have really calmed themselves down now, up and down the field.
They'll work down the back straightaway, off into turns 3 and 4. And again, Minot has had a rocket ship in this one. Took it away from Shane James, and he is going to take the win here in heat race number 4. Shane James in 2nd. Huff comes home in the 3rd spot.
Those are going to be your 3 transfers on the evening. Jason Minot, Shane James, and Eric Howe, with the likes of Schaefer, Gaunt, Forcier, Wolford, Chowning, and Battenfield rounding out this field. We got one more heat race to bring you before we get to the qualifying mains tonight. This is still, the names just keep coming at us. Mike McKinney going to be starting on this front row. Jason George on the outside of him. Andy Hunter, Rick Thornton, Leadon Peanut, and Shane Meadows. Then you got Blake Brown, Ronald Piles, and Chris Martin making up this field, Ben.
Mike McKinney on the pole. He's the modified ace out of Illinois. We saw his brother try to have a good run earlier, ran a little bit of trouble, and he's going to have Jason George starting alongside the 09 car, and he's always a hard charger as well. Those two guys are going to bring us to the green flag, and we've seen the race. It's been interesting. The last heat race was pretty clean, but we noticed one thing definitely getting wider and wider, Randy, as we saw some 2 and 3 wide racing, very clean racing back in the pack.
I think that's the thing, Ben, is that as cars have really worked themselves up on that top groove through practice and qualifying, we normally saw people up around the top. That bottom groove is getting so much more difficult to run that we're starting to see people move down to that bottom lane, and even that middle is starting to get very, very quick. So seeing these guys run like this, you know, the racing in heats 2, 3, and 4 has been a lot more fun, a lot more interesting than what we saw through 1 and 2.
They really have. And again, you've got a modified ace in the real world, Mike McKinney on the pole. You got Ricky Thornton Jr. that wins about 40 races a year in the modified starting outside of row 2. He's not afraid to get a little aggressive. This one is going to be entertaining. We could have saved the best for last. We're going to find out in 8 laps who are the 3 that move on and who else heads off on the wrecker and how many else go to the D, the C, and the B.
Let's find out as they work themselves down the back straightaway. Final heat race coming at you. And Mike McKinney is going to bring him to green here. iRacing safety truck getting ready to duck their way down into pit road. Then it's going to be all action for 8 laps here around this Knoxville Speedway. And Mike's going to waste no time getting onto this throttle pedal. We are green in heat race number 5.
And it's going to be Mike McKinney with a whole shot off into turns 1 and 2, but he's got a company down to this side. Here comes Andy Hunter with a slider, not going to work, and driving down the hill will be Jason George trying to get the 2nd spot. He'll take it. He may go up to McKinney off into 3 and 4.
Through 3 and 4, they're going to go. They're going to muscle 4 wide for your race lead. That's going to be a bit of a risk considering everyone in this spot is pretty much in transfer spots. They get it back to 3 wide for the 2nd spot. Mike McKinney, I think, is just happy to be still out there and running after that trip through 3 and 4.
It's McKinney, your leader, but he's got good company. Andy Hunter in 2nd spot, Jason George in 3rd. I just noticed Ricky Thornton Jr. has my face on the hood of his race car. I hope he does not crash the 20. He's on the outside looking in, as now he goes after the 3rd spot with Jason George.
Through 1 and 2, they're going to come as the 7 of Andy Hunter. He's going to get a good run as the fight is going to be on for that last transfer spot. The 09 machine of Jason George trying to hold on down to that bottom groove. The 020 has Ben riding on his hood and is trying to use the power of Ben Shelton to get his way into a transfer spot, but it doesn't seem to be helping out just right here, right now, but he's closing in on that 09 car.
I think I'm holding back. Look out, your second place runner, Andy Hunter, bounces off the wall. That's going to cost him. Here comes Jason George with a slider. Now Ricky Thornton Jr. moves into battle. Meanwhile, it's still Mike McKinney, your leader out front.
Ben Space manages to get himself into a transfer position as he runs himself to the top side. But look at the run, the 7 of Andy Hunter. Clips that cushion up top and gets a big head of steam down this back straightaway. He can put that 020 back to spot. And look at the 033 of Leland Pina. He's going to check in here in the closing stages of heat race number 5.
Where did Pina come from? Out of nowhere. He'll go after Ricky Thornton Jr. Thornton bounced off the wall the last time by. That allowed George to get by. Meanwhile, you got a battle for the lead. McKinney, your top spot. But here comes Jason George. Battles throughout the pack. Just a couple of laps to go.
Mike McKinney wants to hold on to this lead spot, but at the same time, don't need to get too aggressive trying to hold on to an 09 machine of Jason George. He's going to check in, 2 laps remaining in this heat race, and Jason's going to get a big head of steam down on the bottom, but Mike's going to work the top and picks up a lot of momentum, but he slaps that outside wall, and that's going to allow the 09 machine to slide up in corners number 3 and 4 and take that lead away, but actually, Jason's going to give him a little bit of breathing room. Now he gets up to that top spot, and they're going to go both down to the bottom. The 09 of Jason George really defending here. The 7 of Andy Hunter is trying to hold off Ricky Thornton as they head down the back straightaway for the final time. Andy is there on the back of Mike McKinney as well. They work through corners number 3 and 4 for the final time, and they're going to finish pretty much in the order they ran. George, McKinney, Hunter with the 3 final transfer spots here in heat race number 5.
What a race. Ricky Thornton Jr. is going to head off to a B main. He comes up just short. Andy Hunter, 3rd and final transfer, coming home in the 2nd spot. What a race we just had right there. What more could you ask out of that one? McKinney comes home in 2nd, and George did what he had to do to get the win.
So, grid's now set for the qualifying features, but first, we got to get it down through the first one, Ben. And this is going to be a physical race for sure. D main, none of these guys want to go out through the first one. Top 4 will be the ones that transfer, and it's a lot of big names here. Lucas Chowning and Blake Brown on the front row. Jacob Hilburn and Matthew Hearn on row 2. Dennis Partridge and Rocky Battenfield row 3, Chris Martin, and most notably Dylan Fox row 4, with Blaze Deckert and Eric Tupper on row number 5. This is going to be a crazy D-main.
So these guys have got 10 laps, and there's 10 cars. You've only got to get into the top 4. So that's the good news. Everybody's got a chance out of this one, really. 10 laps is a long time around this place. We just ran 8-lap heats. That's the good news. The bad news is if you get out of this one, you got to go to the back of a C main. So it's going to be interesting to see how that shakes down. The racetrack continues to change. And I tell you what, man, those last couple of heat races, you could not have asked for any more than we saw out of that.
The other thing to really keep in mind, Ben, is if a miracle happens and if someone comes out of one of these D mains, either here in server number 2 or in server number 1, you're talking about if they go from that race to the 100-lap feature event later tonight, those guys are going to have to be in the car for about 3 hours straight. You're going to be talking more about doing something like a sports car stint at Sebring rather than the typical short track racing you would see at many of the dirt tracks around the USA.
It's a lot of time. It's a lot of back-to-back races, and mentally you're thinking about what do I do to the car? What do I do with the racetrack? What comes next? But hey, man, these guys are here for bragging rights. They're having a good time. Randy, I'm having a great time tonight. Cannot wait to see how this D main gets going, and can somebody run the alphabet, not only get into the main event, but be a contender for the win?
That's going to be the big thing here. 2 can get their way working forward. Definitely all eyes, I think, on that 999 of Dylan Fox starting 8th in this first D main. And considering he was the pole sitter of the evening, definitely the quickest out there in his first heat race, but an unfortunate mistake put him down to the back of the field. We're going to have to wait and see how this works. Field works their way down the back straightaway. Everyone just mentally trying to think of what they think is going to happen, where they're going to place themselves, mentally preparing for a long night ahead of them, because everyone right here is planning on making it to the feature event later tonight. Don't let any of them think otherwise. Field works itself to 3 and 4, put 10 laps on the board, 4 cars transfer. Blake Brown tries to jump it. He doesn't time it just right, and Luke Chowning's going to have the lead, but it's not a great start from him, even after Blake Brown failing the jump. And look at that 74 machine. Gets a big run off the top. He's going to nose into your lead for a moment, but the momentum works in favor of Luke Chowning.
Downing's car is pushing on both ends. You saw it in 1 and 2, now 3 and 4. He'll catch a little bit of the fence. Who's going to lead lap number 1? Chowning still able to make that top work, and he leads lap 1 behind him. It's going to be Brown, Hearn, and Hilburn. That's your 4 transfer cards as they run with 1 in the books.
Drama in the back. Who's that went around? That was Blaze Decker. That could be the end of his night. Dylan Fox got held up in that as well. Doesn't have any damage, but it cost him a good head of steam as they worked themselves through 3 and 4. 47 to Luke Chowning, able to stretch away for the rest of the field. Blake Brown in second, Matt Hearn in third, and Jacob Hilburn in that 4th spot. Take that back. Oh, the 30 and the 10 get into it. They both go around. They both lose transfer spots.
Wow, lots of action happening back in the pack. Out front is Chowning, Brown, your leader, and you just saw Hearn and Partridge have some issues as we're working now toward the middle part of this race. And as we said, guys are going to go by the wayside. Dylan Fox, what a heartbreaker. Fast time in practice, fast time in time trials. Looks like his night is over. He will not have a chance at that $1,000 title tonight.
That's going to be a heartbreaker. So much time, effort, practice would have gone into an event like this, and to have it get cut short only about 30 minutes into the event, that's not what anyone wants. As they work themselves to the top side of 1 and 2, amongst your race leaders, there's still transfer spots to battle for. Jacob Hilburn's in that 3rd spot, but Eric Tupper is trying to hold on to that 4th spot. He's got 2 aggressive drivers behind him, Rocky Battenfield and Dylan Fox. They want that last transfer position that the 115 currently holds.
Well, Battenfield, a former winner of this event, trying to keep his night alive. And as we said, Fox trying to battle back from just terrible luck throughout the night. Good battle. 3 cars went after 1 spot. Eric Tupper's got it. Fox is there. Battenfield's there as well as they work out at 2.
Here comes Dylan Fox working the top side. He has that 5th position for a moment, but he's still not quite done dealing with the 097 to Battenfield. But look at the momentum for Fox on the top side. He swings away on the outside, and he takes that 4th and final transfer spot away with only a few laps remaining in the D main.
And now Dylan Fox has got his feet under him out front. It continues to be Chowning in the 47. Then Blake Brown to Hilburn. And Dylan Fox in that 4th and final transfer as he rules in Hilburn. Now that's going to be your battle for position number 3 as we get down to the last few laps of this one. The 10-lapper, top 4 move on. Everybody else done for the night.
I have to say, I think for most of these guys, even if Dylan Fox gets to Jacob Hilburn, he may not want to push the issue too much. He's already got a transfer position, but then again, every spot is worth its weight in gold when you're talking about coming through qualifying mains. A little bit of contact with that number 117. He's going to go around a little bit, and this might be a 3-car scrap for the final transfer spot once again. Is Dylan Fox going to take the 4th spot away, 3rd spot away, excuse me, and Hilburn goes from 3rd to 5th in the matter of about half a lap.
What just happened to Hilburn as we get down to the final lap of this one with Chowning out front? It's Brown, Dylan Fox in 3rd, and now Tupper into that 4th and final transfer as we get down to the final 4 that move on.
Record flag waves at the timing beam as Luke Chowning is going to work the bottom in 3 and 4. He's going to take the win. Blake Brown 2nd, Dylan Fox 3rd, and Eric Tupper in 4th. And unfortunately, a little bit of a mistake coming from Jacob Hilburn. He will not transfer. And same with Rocky Battenfield. They will be just on the outside looking in, as well as Blaze Decker and Matthew Hearn. So big drama in the closing stages of your D main. And the 6 drivers who'll be on the outside looking in after the first qualifying race will be Hilburn, Battenfield, Deckett, Hearn, Partridge, and Chris Martin. Heartbreak for those guys, Ben.
Well, how about Dylan Fox? He started 8th. He gets the 3rd transfer spot in your 4th and final transfer. We talked about it. There's plenty of laps. Eric Tupper starts 10th. He moves on to the big event. Jacob Hilburn's got to be upset with himself. He was in the show, got a little out of shape, and the other guys capitalized on it.
Drama is going to continue coming through as we immediately head towards your C main. So with aggressiveness happening there, there's going to be even more of it cycling through. Kevin Forcier, Ronald Piles on the front row for your C main tonight, with Richard Spar and DJ Kilinowski on that 2nd row. Keith Hackney, Chris Wolford, row 3. Shane Meadows, Peter Corberly, row 4. Bradley Hindman, Mark Molnar on row number 5, with Luke Chowning and Blake Brown, row 6, and Dylan Fox and Eric Tupper on row 7. We talk about a name like Dylan Fox, Ben. That's what we were talking about at the start of that heat race. You're going to be transferring your way through if you're going to be able to make it all the way, and then you're starting on the back of the next event, and then eventually you're going to have to run your way through that sort of last qualifying race as a feature at the end of this server. Dylan Fox has a lot of work to do once again.
Yeah, he does, but I think he can do it. We saw in that last one, if you keep your nose clean, he's got a really good race car. You look up front in this one, Forcier on the pole, the driver out of Drummondville, Quebec, and he's got Ronald Piles to his outside, and Piles coming to us out of Lima, Ohio. So, so much diversity in this field, not only across the United States, but Canada, and it's really fun to get them all here tonight, and it's going to be fun to see if guys like Dylan Fox and Eric Tupper can keep running the alphabet. They're going to start deep in this one.
They're already done with the letter D. They're moving on to the letter C as they work themselves down the back straightaway. Who is going to be the people who move their way on to the third qualifying race of the evening? And well, the third to final qualifying race of the evening. Kevin Forcier will be in command of the field. Waiting as Ronald Piles on that outside wants to get a good start. Here it comes. Green flag waves in the C main. Who's going to advance? Top four once again move their way forward. 10-15 laps on the board for this one.
Forcier gets a great start. Piles does not, and Spar goes after him immediately as they go 2 by 2 back through the pack, following your leader Kevin Forcier, the driver from north of the border, working out of the down the back straightaway. Good stuff right now back through the pack. Everybody trying to pick up spots early in this one.
We got cars around. We got cars around coming off of corner number 4. A lot of cars going to be involved. Number of drivers will be on the wrong side of the luck for this one. The number 999 machine of Fox able to somehow slip through. I think it'll be interesting to see where exactly he comes out in the positions as his contact out in front as well. That was Ronald Piles and I think Keith Hackney fighting for that second spot.
Yeah, Piles and Hackney got together. They were lucky not to crash. They might not be done yet. They get together again, and now there are 4 cars going after that second spot. One mistake, and it can cost you a lot of spots, and it can definitely end your night.
Through corners number 3 and 4, they're going to work once again. Forcier, the Canadian driver, is just enjoying his little gap out in front as Ronald Piles now comfortably takes the second spot. Shane Meadows going to go wheel to wheel through 1 and 2 with Keith Hackney. Hackney's going to be the one who reigns supreme in that. No, I take that back. Meadows gets to run down the back straightaway. But here comes Keith Hackney as well, fighting with Mark Molnar. Molnar trying to take that final transfer spot away, get into that 4th position. But the top side, the momentum's too strong just for the moment for that 69 car.
Molnar 10th to 5th outside looking in as we work lap number 6 of this one, and it's some good stuff as they work around through the corner. Racetrack getting slicker and slicker. Your leader's gone to the bottom, and up top, here comes car number 16, Ronald Piles, going after Forcier for the top spot as they complete another lap.
Forcier tries to take the line away, and 68 gets us up in the wall. 69, big contact, a lot more luck coming through, maybe the wrong way. Who's going to be the drivers who slide their way through? I think the 999 of Dylan Fox is able to do so, and that might just put him in a transfer spot.
Contact supreme back in the pack. Meanwhile, out front, Forcier leading the way as we saw just crazy things. A lot of good cars getting caught up in that one. Shane Meadows up to 2nd. Hinman into the 3rd spot. He started 9th. And how about Dylan Fox 13th to 4th? The alphabet run continues for that driver.
He continues working forward. He's fighting with Bradley Heineman right now. The question has to be is, will Dylan Fox's luck ever run out, or will he be able to keep this moving forward? Half distance now in this C main event. 727 car of Heineman working the middle. Doesn't quite have it hooked up. Fox inches away on the outside around, and he's going to pick that 3rd spot up. This is where he finished in his last one, but you know he'd love to reel Shane Meadows in before the checkers raves on this C main.
Well, right now, Heineman finds himself back there in that not-so-coveted final transfer spot, so he's got to keep his nose clean as Dylan Fox is motoring forward, and this driver could be a major charger throughout the night as he's up to 3rd now after starting 13th. Forcier your leader, then it's Meadows, Fox, Hinman, your top 4, with just a few laps remaining in this one.
Forcier and Meadows, they're not done battling just yet, though, and Dylan Fox has reeled in the 224 machine. Those two were nose to tail for a few laps, and that's what caused Shane Meadows to have to really get out of it. 5 laps remaining as they work through 3 and 4 of Dylan Fox is hooked up on the top side. You see Kevin and Shane working that bottom groove, but Dylan still feels more than comfortable throwing up against the wall. He's going to begin working on that 224 car now as he comes off towards this back straightaway. Dylan Fox has the run. He has the 2nd spot, and he wants to lead as he begins harassing the back of Forcier.
Go back to Forcier. Meanwhile, lap car in front of your leaders. This one's going to get interesting as they work around to complete lap number 11. Good stuff right now. And here comes from the 13th starting spot, Dylan Fox, hammer down on the top side. You got a new leader out of turn number 2.
He started in the 2nd to last position in this heat race, and as he comes off of corner number 4, the 999 machine is going to lead this C main as they work themselves down this front straightaway and in towards corners number 1 and 2. 3 laps remaining, and look at this, the 999, he's opened up a huge margin over Forcier and the rest of the field.
Well, Dylan Fox has got that car freed up. He can run the top, everybody else running the bottom to the middle, and it's still Fox grabbing that moisture. Meanwhile, challenging into that 4th and final transfer spot in car number 47.
2 laps remaining. The 999 machine is nosed out in front. We need to keep an eye on this last transfer position. That was the 47 of Luke Chowning. And Bradley Heineman is not very far away, so we need to keep an eye on this. White flag's going to be waving at the starter stand this time through. That 47 car has beaten this spin through this last transfer, one of these last chance races. works through 1 and 2. 727 machine working through the middle, but the 47 is not hicking up whatsoever down the back straightaway for the final time for him. And I think he'll be able to hold on to this. Just a couple more corners to go as Dylan Fox will come off that final corner. He'll win this C main. He'll be a very happy man with that one. Kevin Fortier in second, Shane Meadows in third, and Luke Chowning will hold on to that fourth and final transfer spot after this C main.
How about Dylan Fox, 13th to the win in the C main. He moves off to the B main, 20 laps the distance in that one. Hey, he could win that one too, Randy. Is that not that 999 making up for lost time after trouble in the heat race earlier tonight?
He's getting close to having 100 laps done and run before they even get to the feature tonight.
Well, everybody else is going to be a little rusty, especially if you made it out of your heat races. You got to watch this. He's out there. He's just honing his skills lap after lap, but he moves on out of that one as we get ready for B main action.
That's actually one thing to talk about here, Ben, is the fact that while Fox has been out there, we saw him be quick. A lot of these guys in this B main, even though they haven't made the final qualifying race of the night, what we're going to be calling essentially the first feature, he's gotten a lot of practice on this current track conditions, and you saw how comfortable he was running up on the top, up on the cushion, all the way around the racetrack, and the gap he was able to pull doing that. If a lot of these guys aren't comfortable doing that, we might see him run through this field very quickly.
Well, I think he probably surprised a lot of guys. Everybody thought it would go to the bottom in the middle of that one, and that brown ring around the top, you've really got to have a good car. You got to be a good driver. You're going to get into the fence, but we just saw it. You can carry momentum, and that's what Knoxville is known for. It's a fine line between running that top and getting into the catch fence, and we saw Dylan Fox masterfully do it in that last one. B main coming to the speedway.
Here we go. Let's go down the starting grid. Matt McKinney and Brandon Bolton on that front row. Tyler Hudson and Rob Schaefer, row 2. Ricky Thornton on row 3 with Mike Molnar. Tom Carberry and Adam Elby, row number 4 with Ryan Gahn. And Lidina Pina on row 5. Matt Everts and Justin Chapman, row 6. Dalton Connor and Dylan Fox, row 7. Kevin Fortier and Shane Meadows on row 8. And then the final car in this field, all by his lonesome on row 9, is going to be Lucas Chowning. 17 cars, and it's going to be 8 that transfer for the feature, so not as quite as much as hard work needed to be done in this one. Get yourself into the next race, but still, it's a lot of quick guys in this last chance qualifier. The field runs their way down the back straightaway behind this iRacing safety truck. Thank you once again for tuning in. It's a fantastic event. Super excited to be able to bring this to you on RaceSpotTV and streaming live on iRacing Live, and as well as excited to work with the likes of Ben Shelton on this one. Pace truck goes down to pit road, and the 97 of Matt McKinney wastes no time. He gets on it, green flag in the air in the B main.
And they're going to head off into the corner right now. Good battles at the front of the pack. McKinney's going to lead the way in car 97. Right behind him in the 124, it's Brandon Bolton. And your front 2 cars, they're not afraid to go to the top. In fact, that's where the top 3 will be. You got to go back to the 4th place runner, Ricky Thornton Jr., the first driver on the bottom.
A couple guys trying the top, a handful of guys still running the bottom. You see race leaders. Oh, and there it is. First mistake up top, the 124. Brandon Bolton, he gets loose up top, catches the outside wall. That's going to allow Tyler Hudson to work his way through the middle and take that 2nd spot away. Ricky Thornton is going to pick the 3rd spot up as well as they work through corners number 3 and 4. And that's the risk running up against the cushion there, Ben. You hop it. It's a very, very narrow margin for error to make a mistake and get yourself into the wall and lose a lot of time.
And this is such a momentum racetrack. You break that momentum, you lose 3 spots in the blink of an eye. So right now, McKinney leads the way. Hudson in 2nd, Thornton back in 3rd, Bolton in 4th. Then it's Schaefer, Molnar, Elby, and Pina ride out right now the drivers that are in your 8 transfer spots.
Top 8 are what we really need to be working on, but one driver who started deep in this field and is not very far away from one of them is Dylan Fox. He currently runs 10th. Remember, top 8 get their way through, and he's immediately going to go up 1. The 57 of Justin Chapman tags the outside wall coming off a 2 to move Dylan Fox into the 9th spot, and he is not very far away from Lidina Pina in that 8th and final transfer position. The 999 of Dylan Fox is looking to run the alphabet as he can get a big head of steam and off down the back straightaway. Still so comfortable running that top groove and reeling in the 033.
He's got plenty of time. We're working lap number 5 right now of 20 as we click over to lap number 6. But 6 of 20, right now Fox is where he wants to be. He's going to bide his time, cannot make any mistakes in front of him. They're definitely mixing it up as, again, the top 8 move on to preliminary feature, the 30-lap preliminary feature, where the top 12 move off to the big 1,000 to win finale.
Dylan Fox harassing that 033 machine, tried the bottom groove, but didn't quite work out for him. Now he goes back up to the top, and look at the way he's able to make up ground on Peanut as they work themselves down the back straightaway. Where is he going to try to throw the move? 033 machine still not liking that upper line. Not quite as comfortable throwing that back end of the car right up against the cushion the way the most of your front runners are. Because of that, he's somewhat struggling. And with someone like the 999 of Dylan Fox hounding behind you, those aren't mistakes you need to be making, Ben.
Right now, and Molnar better be careful because they're reeling him in, as well as LB, Schaefer, and Bolton. It's going to get tighter and tighter, as really right now probably Landon Pina running his best laps of the race, as he knows he's got to race for that final transfer spot. And look at that slider, as he's going to take the spot away from LB, and now LB's going to be the driver that comes under fire from Fox. Fox to the inside of LB. That's your battle for the final transfer. Can Fox make it stick?
Fox is trying to make it stick. See him really working the slide on that 999 machine. Isn't able to make that bottom work. So it seems like the top groove is starting to become where you want to be. 75 of LB goes back up there. It immediately pulls a little bit of length on that 999 machine down this back straightaway now. Half distance in this B main coming up in just a couple of moments. As the 999 of Dylan Fox is so close. He can smell the preliminary feature on his, but he's just not quite close enough. As the 75 machine is just inches out in front of him.
And right behind him, Justin Chapman has called Fox. Fox has got to worry about falling back another spot. It might be time for a slide job to try to get past the 75 of LB. Meanwhile, out front, it's going to be McKinney, your leader, Tyler Hudson second, Ricky Thornton Jr. in third, Robert Schaefer in fourth, then Bolton, Molnar, Pena, and LB clinging to that final transfer spot, but he's got a fast closing Dylan Fox and Justin Chapman behind him.
Down the back straightaway, they are going to come. Pina's been able to stretch a slight margin over this one. You have the likes of Molnar and Bolton out in front as well. 999 car still hounding the back of Adam Elby, but cannot find any way to get around. Going to try to catch the cushion and get a big run down the back straightaway. Maybe Pina can be a pick that 999 and Dylan Fox can use. The 75 works to the bottom. Is this going to be a mistake, or will Elby be able to pick this spot up? There might be some contact, but no, they're going to be able to hold on to it. The 033 machine wants that spot back, though, on Adam Elby, and he's going to be able to get it. They're going to begin fighting, and Dylan Fox is just trying to find a gap to walk through.
Well, he better be careful, because in a second, those two guys might take each other out. It's slide job city as we see another one from LB. Pina's going to turn back down the hill. Here comes Fox. Fox might be able to capitalize on this one. Good battle for the final transfer.
Fox can go to the top groove. The 75 of LB doesn't quite get the cushion the way you normally want to, and they're going to be fighting it out. They're going to be nearly 3 wide down this back straightaway, coming to 5 laps to go, in towards 3 and 4 for the 3 of them. The 999 of Fox going to try to work it down on the slippery stuff, not quite going to be able to make it work. Then towards 1 and 2, they're going to come cross. Let's give me 5 laps remaining, and Dylan Fox has the run. Can he slip through the 033? Yes, he can. Dylan Fox, he holds the transfer spot now as they roll through 3 and 4.
Pina got into no man's land right there, lost all of his momentum right through the middle, and Fox up into that final transfer. Now Pina outside looking in with just 4 laps remaining, making 3 laps to go with Matthew McKinney leading the way. Then it's Tyler Hudson, Ricky Thornton Jr., Robert Schaefer, Brandon Bolton, Molnar, Elby, and Dylan Fox. That 8th and final transfer is now he's going to stretch it out and go to work on Elby for position number 7 as Pina is seeing his chances of making the main event go by the wayside.
Pina's made a couple mistakes the last couple of laps, and that's cost him a lot of time. Matt McKinney, he's out to a 3.5 second margin over Tyler Hudson, and that's closing in on 4 as the field works their way through. Pina makes a bit of a mistake in the back. That's going to allow the 57 of Justin Chapman to work the bottom, potentially make a move. Not quite able to make that happen, though. Your race leader, Matt McKinney, lap and a half left in this one for him. Most of your battles up and down the field have somewhat resolved themselves. These drivers and transfer spots know that it's just important that they finish in the top 8, so they're not going to get overly aggressive with one another. White flag in the B main here in server number 2 for the 11th annual Accelerated Spring Fling here at Knoxville, brought to you by VLR. They work themselves off of corner number 4. Matt McKinney's going to take the win here in this B main. Tyler Hudson second, Rick Thornton in third. Robert Schaefer is going to round out the 4th spot. Bolton in 5th, Molnar 6th, LB 7th, and Dylan Fox will run the alphabet. He puts himself on the back of the starting grid for the feature here in server number 2.
We definitely saw how much tougher the going got as we got into that one, as Fox was able to pretty much dominate the other ones, the D and the C. The B, it's all he can do to get to that 8th spot, but hey, that's all that matters. He moves off to the 30-lap main event, where he's only got to finish in the top 12 to keep his Spring Fling Championship dream still alive.
That's going to be the big thing for these guys, as there's going to be a short warm-up session before we go to this 30-lap preliminary feature, Ben. These guys, they're going to be very, very anxious to get out on the racetrack and see how it's changed since they've been on the track. Because some of these guys, they haven't been out here since heat race number 1, and that is a very, very different Knoxville Speedway out there right now. I believe we might have had some track work come in, which means that it's going to be sort of a refresh for some of these guys to get out there, remember how to drive these race cars.
Well, we see the black is gone out of down in turns 3 and 4. 1 and 2, you can see just a little bit on the bottom. Definitely tracks a little bit slimier. I think as we get ready for this main event, you're going to see guys really favoring that top side, and it's going to take some daring slide jobs if you're going to move your way forward in this one.
So these guys are going to go out and work their way through. Again, a little bit of track work, a bit of a track reset. And I think that's going to be a good thing, Ben, because the way that track was coming in, we pretty much just would have been dealing with a top grooved racetrack the entire way through. To have a little bit of track work come in, 5 minutes to warm up, these guys will be able to put some laps on this place. Then we'll have a fantastic 30-lap show to the end to figure out the top 12 from this server, which will join the other top 12 that's also being run right now to put on the feature event for the evening.
Well, we look at Dylan Hauser on the front row of this one, though, Florida driver, and he's going to have Virgil Graham to the outside. And those are two drivers no stranger to victory lane. Of course, Graham out of Eldred, Pennsylvania. And you go back through there, and it's talent, 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 and it's going to really make a difference. The little bit of tweaks you make on the car and what groove you go. And let's not forget, 30 laps can go by in a hurry. We just saw how fast that 20-lap B main went. So if you're not careful and you bide your time too much, not only might you find yourself down a lap, but you might be watching the big show coming up a little bit later if you can't get to that top 12.
Driver's still out there in practice. He's running a few warm-ups. Times are down in the 18.3s, which is typically what we saw toward the beginning of the evening.
It's going to be entertaining to see, Randy, as we talk about the drivers that come out of the other server, to see what 12 come out of that one to match up with these 12, because we've had a star-studded lineup here tonight.
That's the big thing, and talk about star-studded. I don't know, when you're talking about someone like the 999 and Dylan Fox, who we've seen run the alphabet through the DC and B mains, I don't know if you're going to be able to start as deep in the field as you have thus far, get your way all the way out in front, because with caution laps counting in a feature event in a race like this, Ben, a couple of incidents come through, and Dylan has sort of caught the luck on the incidents to get his way through some of these qualifying main events tonight. But if an incident out in front of him happens, while he might pick up a couple spots, it's also going to take laps off the board for him to work with.
Yeah, he definitely does not want to see that. He needs to stay clean and green. And let's be honest, there's going to be some cautions in this one. You're going to see guys getting really aggressive, especially some of those guys starting deep. And let's not forget, these guys came here to win. At the end of the day, they are here to win. There's a lot of pride. There's a lot of egos. This might be the prelim feature, but they want to win this one to start up front in that 1,000 to win main event.
Yeah, and that's the big thing for all these guys, what they're working through, and as hard as they're working. And really, it's any of these 24 guys, 23 guys, they're going to be starting in this feature, this sort of last chance qualifier, if you will, Ben. Any of these guys could belong in that top server. There's, I think, very few names you look up and down this 23-car field that you could say don't belong there. And the same exact situation is going to be happening over in server number 1 that's running right now as well, parallel to this. It's going to be a tough ask getting yourself even into the top 12 of a race like this. Typically, we see about half of these guys that run together, and then you'll have a lot of filler names throughout the rest of the field. This is probably the most competitive dirt event I've seen on iRacing in the year that this content has been available.
And let's not forget, we've already put a lot of good cars on the trailer out of that B main. I mean, guys that any other night might have been a contender, maybe not necessarily for the win, but a podium finish at the very least. So, yeah, as we get into this, it's going to be interesting. And it looks like some of these guys are having a little bit of trouble with this cushion right now as it is. I think we're going to see a really big cushion in this one. And just like we saw Dylan Fox in that C main, it's going to be key if you can free your car up enough to really run that top. And there's a big difference in running that cushion and getting over it. If you get over the cushion at Knoxville, you lose 5 or 6 spots, and you may get hammered by another competitor, so you cannot afford to get over the cushion in this 30-lapper.
Well, Ben, we know the starting grid. We're going to go down it here in a moment. Who's your pick to win this sort of last chance race? And who do you think is going to be the first driver on the outside looking in?
You know what? I think that Virgil Graham's going to pick up the win outside front row. He's been really fast, really clean. Outside looking in, boy, make an enemy in a hurry out of this one. I think we've seen Dylan Fox have a good run, but he's going to do a lot better. I could see Fox coming up in position 13 or 14.
So this is going to be an interesting one. Counter counts down on the warm-up. Hot lap session is complete. Now, you need to get yourself out there. You need to get yourself into the right mindset, and you need to try to move your way forward. 23 cars and the top 12 advance to the big event later on. 100 laps will be on the board for this $1,000 to win main event. Let's go down your starting grid here for the 30-lap preliminary feature. Dylan Hauser will be starting on the inside of this front row. He'll be bringing them to green with Virgil Graham on the outside. Justin Norwood, Jason Minat, row 2, with Jason George and Austin Carr on row 3. Zach Rounds, Josh Phillips, row 4, with Shane James and Mike McKinney on row number 5. Dylan Wilson, Jeremy Thornton with row 6, Kyle Stevens and Eric Howe, row 7. Andy Hunter, Matthew McKinney on row number 8. Tyler Hudson and Ricky Thornton, row number 9. Robert Schaefer, Brandon Bolton, row 10. Mike Molnar, Adam Elby, row 11, and Dylan Fox in that 999. We've seen him come through the back multiple times already this evening. Let's see if he's able to do it again as this group rolls their way off. We get ready for potential fireworks.
Yeah, it's gonna be really entertaining. Well, you asked me, I'm gonna ask you now, Randy. Who do you think gets the win here, and who do you think maybe comes up with a heartbreaking, just a spot or two short?
I think Graham's going to be able to hold on to it. I think you're right about that. And I actually think we're going to see someone from the inside of the top 12 who starts this race in a very good spot, potentially be one of those last couple positions just on the outside looking in. I think Austin Carr is going to have a strike of bad luck in this one.
Well, hopefully neither one of us just jinx somebody. I pick my bad luck guy, you pick your bad luck guy. We're going to find out. But again, as you said, very important to note, 30 laps, caution laps count. So if you're those guys deep in the field, you're like, please keep it together, guys, because not only do you want to be part of the caution, you do not want to be part of the caution. You don't want to see laps ticking away, because it's going to take every lap for some of those guys to have a chance to get into the main event.
Just to reiterate, this is not the end of the evening. This is the qualifying feature from server number 2. There are 2 servers that are up right now. There's sort of parallel coverage happening at the moment. Ben and I will be bringing you the feature event after this one. It will be 100 laps. The top 12 from each session from this race right here will be the drivers we see take part in the feature tonight. Pace trucks down towards pit road, and Dylan Hauser wastes no time. We are green in the preliminary race from server number 2.
Fantastic hole shot for Dylan Hauser. He goes off to the lead. Meanwhile, behind him up into the second spot, it's going to be Norwood in car number 4. He gets a good start, beating and banging. Look out, Virgil Graham. He gets up close and personal with Jason George. Lap number 1 will go to Dylan Hauser.
We got a car around. We might have a bit of a caution. Indeed, we do. It's the early yellow here, and who is that? It's the 18 of Jeremy Thornton's around here in the opening lap, so immediately a caution flies. Someone I think who just picked up a lot of spots. Where is he? That 999 of Dylan Fox. He rolled off 23rd. He rolls 17th on the racetrack right now. 6 in a lap.
I think he heard in his helmet when I said he's going to come up a spot short. He just got 6 in the first lap, as we'll get him lined up for this restart with Hauser, your leader, Norwood, Virgil Graham, Jason George, and Zach Rouse, your top 5.
I think the notable thing, though, Ben, we talked about that 999 machine and the fact he was able to squeak his way through a lot of incidents thus far throughout the evening. I look at that 999 machine, and there's some damage on the front of that car. Hoping he didn't potentially damage something. We got the 156 car heading down towards pit road. That's Mike Molnar. Might be the end of his night as well, as I believe Brandon Bolton has pretty much called it an evening as well.
Definitely just a little bit of damage on Dylan Fox's race car, and this is such an aerodynamically important racetrack. You need all the airflow you can get. You don't want anything out of whack, and we'll keep an eye on Dylan Fox. Maybe not too bad. We're going to have to see how it goes. But out front, how about that start by Dylan Hauser and Virgil Graham? He was a pinball down the back straightaway. He cannot be too happy with that first lap, but he is lucky just to be in third.
Running third, you don't want to be you can't be too upset with that one, I don't think. The big thing is the fact that with the top 12 really, transferring their way through in good positions, Ben, if you can just hold on to a top 10 spot, and if you can be in the top 5, I suspect those front guys to play relatively nice with one another, because really there's no reason not to.
Now, you don't want to ruin your chances for later. Again, I know you'd like to win this one, but you got to look at the bigger picture. This is just another qualifier. So again, Hauser and Norwood are going to bring us back to the green flag, and we're working lap number 4 of caution laps. If you're back in the pack, you're going, get in line, guys. We have got to go.
Pace truck getting ready to work itself down towards the inside. We will be going green on lap number 4 of 30, coming to lap number 5. So 26 to go. Green flag flies, and Dylan Hauser once again wastes no time getting to that go pedal. As we have 26 laps remaining, and the fight's on for third spot right now. That's Virgil Graham wheel to wheel with Jason George.
Out front again, as you said, Hauser getting some great starts. Norwood comfortably in that second spot. Graham in the third spot. Everybody trying to keep it clean at the front of the pack. Meanwhile, a little beating and banging back in the pack where those spots matter. As only 12 move on as we complete lap number 5 and go to work on lap number 6.
They cycle through the timing beam. Currently, the owner of the bubble spot is Andy Hunter. Then you have the 97 of Matt McKinney, Tyler Hudson, and the 999 of Dylan Fox is in the 15th spot. So just a few laps of green flag running. Fox has run his way through the field. They're 3 wide right now, trying to get the way up towards that 12th position. You see that number 7 car of Andy Hunter up on the top. Tyler Hudson nosed his way into that transfer position at the timing beam, and he's going to take it away through corner number 2. They're now side by side behind. That's McKinney and Hunter.
Meanwhile, you got a slider for position number 2, and Virgil Green is going to Graham's going to take it away from Norwood. And it's going to be Jason George and Austin Carr. They're 3 wide right now for position number 3. Look out, as right now it's going to be Norwood finding himself under fire with Jason George and Austin Carr. George on the move. Out front, it continues to be Dylan Hauser as we work lap number 8.
Jason George takes that 3rd spot away. You have Norwood still fighting with Carr and James. They're going to be 3 wide once again now for the 4th spot as they cycle through corners number 1 and 2. Who's going to be the big winner in this one? A little bit of contact. Just good hard racing. Good one car in the 06 machine. He's going to get up into the outside wall. That's going to bring out a yellow. And where are people going to funnel through this time? The 020 with Ben's face riding on board. He's going to unfortunately get caught up in that. And Ben, your face is done for the night, but luckily your voice is still with us.
Clearly, I have a face for Rex. That's all you can say. But wow, it's man. You know, we thought maybe those guys in the top 5 to 8 wouldn't get too aggressive, but we just saw it there. And guys bouncing off the fence. Looked like Minot got off the fence and then collected by other guys. But at the front, Hauser, your leader, Virgil Graham's come to life, and he's trying to make you and I look very smart, Randy. He's up to position number 2. Jason George looking good as well. He's in the 3rd spot. 4th, Shane James, Austin Carr in 5th. Back in 6th, Kyle Steffens, 13th to 6th. Then it's going to be Phillips, Norwood, Rounds, Hudson, Hunter, and then it'll be Huff back there in your 12th and final transfer spot with Matthew McKinney outside looking in car 97.
Both of the McKinneys actually on the outside looking in. They're going to be rolling off from the same row right here on row number 7. And I can't think of when you're in that last transfer spot, either Andy Hunter in 11th or Eric Huff in 12th, starting side by side in a preliminary feature to have both of the McKinneys behind you, then have the likes of Fox and Elby. They're on the row behind. This is going to be a physical restart here. Not going green just yet. Light's still on that safety truck, but we're approaching halfway in this preliminary feature, Ben, and already been fireworks throughout the field.
Yeah, it has, and I'm going to say that's probably not the last of them we're going to see, especially for those transfer spots, but those guys at the front of the pack, they know how tough it's going to be to pass. They know in that main event they don't want to have to be starting mid-pack, so you may see guys like Virgil Graham taking some chances trying to get the win or earn a front row starting spot for that 100-lap Spring Fling finale.
It'll be interesting to see exactly how much these guys risk, how much they put on the line in this one just simply for a starting position in a 100-lap feature. Could really go either way. You definitely understandably want to start out in front. But at the same time, you need to get your way into that race to even have a chance to win. Pace truck comes down to the safety pit of pit road in just a moment. And now Dylan Hauser, once again, big jump, green flag back in the air as we approach half distance in the preliminary feature. They're side by side for second.
Jason George comes after Graham. George right there on the hub. Graham goes to the middle of the high side of the racetrack. Now Shane James back and forth. Out front, Hauser's got a strong race car. And in the top 5, it's going to be Austin Carr in car number 1 as we approach halfway.
Jason George still fighting with Virgil Graham. Almost a little bit of a tap as they came to the front straightaway, but just enough space given by both drivers to keep it clean. A lot of slicing and dicing in the mid-pack, as you would suspect. People trying to get into transfer spots. The 29 of Zach Rounds is trying to put himself in 9th. And Andy Hunter, he's just trying to hold on to that 12th spot. As the 97 looks down to the bottom, bit of contact behind. That's Matt McKinney, and now Mike McKinney trying both of them getting into transfer spots at the same time.
Andy Hunter's going to fall back to the 15th spot as now the guy on the bubble is going to be Matthew McKinney and his brother Mike McKinney right behind him. As now it's going to be Mike McKinney around Matthew McKinney. Good battles right now for those final transfers.
And they're 3 wide behind. That's Dylan Fox you see down on the bottom, and none of those drivers are going to give. Mike McKinney holds on to that last transfer spot for now. His brother Matthew in his rearview mirror. The 999 of Dylan Fox is still trying to work forward. 75 of Adam Elby. Little bit of contact with that number 7 of Andy Hunter as they run themselves through the top side of 3 and 4. Caution from out in front. A couple of people just picked up transfer position.
Looks like Justin Norwood just got turned around back in the pack. And tough break for the driver of car number 4. It wasn't that long ago. He was on the front row of this one. or he was battling for a transfer spot, and now he finds himself turned around and possibly out of it.
So let's see, what is this going to do to the order? I believe both of the McKinneys will hold on to a transfer spot. Adam Elby will go 12th, Andy Hunter in 13th, and Dylan Fox, I believe we're going to be getting a restart with about 10 laps to go, Ben. It's getting close to the point where you said he would be. He's running 14th right now. He's got about 10 laps. Once we go back to green flag racing, assuming it stays green, he could potentially pick up those final couple spots.
Well, if Dylan Fox ends up 13th, I hope nobody gives him my address, because I don't want to be right about that one. He's put on a show here tonight, and you're going to be right. It's going to be about 10 laps left to go in this one. Dylan Hauser, your leader in car 41. Then it's Virgil Graham, Shane James, Jason George, Austin Carr back in 5th. Then Kyle Steffens, Josh Phillips, Tyler Hudson, Zach Rounds, McKinney back there in position number 10. And then Huff and Matthew McKinney in that 12th and final transfer spot. And Andy Hunter has got to wonder what happened on that last restart, because he went from firmly in the show to outside looking in car 7.
Actually, the 999 machine has to be sitting there wondering what's happened, because he restarted in 15th on the last restart with just on the outside looking in, 2 cars spin in front of him, and he's still 3 spots away from the bubble. That 999 machine of Fox has to be a little bit frustrated that he's not making more headway.
I think it's the 2 and 3 wide racing back there, and if you pick the wrong line and somebody gets out of shape, you got to get on the binders to keep from being part of the accident, and it costs you. And I just think Dylan Fox has perpetually been bad luck in the wrong place at the wrong time tonight. But he's going to have about 10 laps left to go as we get set to get this one back underway.
Lights out on the safety truck, and that means we're going back to green flag racing. Exactly 10 laps will be on the board. We come back to it. Now, your 12 transferees: Hauser, Graham, James, George, Carr, Stevens, Phillips, Hudson, Rounds, McKinney, Huff, and McKinney. So how are they going to finish in this one, though? The field works its way through 3 and 4. Dylan Hauser will be back in command of the field. Look for him to get on the throttle early. He does. We're back to green flag racing at Knoxville. The 41 doesn't quite break away from Virgil Graham. We're immediately back to yellow. Big pile up in the back. See Jason Minot involved in this one. Number of drivers that get caught up in it.
Well, you expect that would tend to go. Guys are going to have to take a chance back in the pack, and you don't want to be part of the caution. That just happened for some of these drivers. And what it also does is it's only going to leave us probably 6 laps maybe of green flag action. Best case as we try to round this one out.
You know, those guys that are on the bubble spot right now, Ben, they're the ones who really hate this caution. You know,
yes.
Those guys are running 13th, 14th, 15th. If you're 12th, you love this because it takes laps off the board. But if your name is Andy Hunter, Dylan Fox, Mike Molnar, Jeremy Thornton, those who are 3, 4, 5 spots away from potentially making it, this is the worst thing that you could potentially see happen.
Yeah, if you're Adam Elby back in 12th, you're like, hey, man, throw the checkered flag. Let's call it a race right here. I'm happy with this. Let's move on. But if you're Andy Hunter back in 13th, you're like, come on. And if you're Dylan Fox, you just think, I've passed like 200 race cars tonight. How can I not be in this main event yet? So we're going to have probably 5, 6 laps to sort it out. One more caution, though. Let's keep that in mind. One more caution is going to just about leave us with best case scenario, a green-white checkered finish.
Yeah, that's just basically going to be the ideal situation, potentially this race ending under yellow. But you know someone who actually got caught up in the going the right way? You mentioned the fact, and we've been talking about him all night, it's been so fun watching him run through these races. 999 machine, he goes from 15th up to 13th. He's only 1 spot away, potentially, from getting himself into this feature event tonight. So if he has another little incident like that, where he can pull ahead of a driver in front of him who's on that other row, and he can pick one up on the timing and scoring sheet when a caution flies, I feel like that 999 machine will be somewhat okay with that.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Again, I'm starting to sweat bullets here. I predicted he would finish 13th in this one, and right now he rides back there in position number 13 with about 5 laps to go.
To be a single file restart on this one. That's the decision that comes down from race control. They get immediate cautions, do not do enough laps under green flag racing. Race control has the ability to make this call, and they have deemed it necessary to spread the field out a little bit. They're still going to be aggressive, though. 6 laps remaining on the board. Green flag back in the air. Dylan Hauser gets on it. The 42 of Virgil Graham will comfortably sit second. Shane James in third. And who's going to take the final transfer spot here as they work themselves through 1 and 2?
Well, a little bit of battling up front, but mainly those guys are happy to go nose to tail for these final laps. Riding back in the 12th position right now, it's LB. Fox still on the outside looking in. Can Fox get there? Running out of time.
Had an incident back in the field, but we're going to stay green. Cars got off of the racing surface. It's Hauser. He's going to run his way out in front, but we need to keep checking in with that transfer spot. Yellow's going to fly. We got the 4 machine upside down, so that might just end it right there, Ben. Who was that who ended up on his lid? That was Norwood.
Wow. Norwood started third. He was caught in one of the last melees, and now he's upside down. Talk about your night going from bad to worse. And with just 4 laps remaining, that may have done it right there. And don't look now, who is 13th? Dylan Fox.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I do not live in Tennessee, Dylan Fox. That's all I can tell you.
So as Ben takes to Google, asking how you change your name and create a new identity, he's going to be Mr. Dylan Fox. He was unfortunately in an unfortunate situation, but I believe we should be getting a restart here, Ben. But I think you're right. It might end up being a GWC on this one at best. If you're Dylan Fox, that's all you can really hope for right now. Only the drivers will know. We're sort of just waiting in anticipation to see if lights go out this time, we'll have a restart.
Well, it's single file. You would think hopefully they could get it pretty quick. And another Dylan having a much better night. Ocala, Florida's Dylan Hauser leads the way in car 41. And what a run he has had with Virgil Graham behind him. That's your top 2 cars. Shane James rounds out the podium, the Indiana racer in car number 3.
So field continues to work themselves single file. Lights are still on the safety truck. We're going to have a half mile. Well, we're going to have about 100 yards here till it tells us whether or not we're getting a restart or not. Lights on that safety truck will go off.
Wow.
Half mile to decide who makes it and who doesn't. 1
lap shootout. Top 12 move on. Everybody else transfers to the trailer. Randy, what more could you ask for out of this prelim feature?
I don't know if you could ask for much more. A little bit of a checkup in the mid-pack. Not sure what that's about. A couple cars getting contact. So that's unfortunate. But this is really, although we want to see who wins the preliminary feature, who's going to be starting out in front, we need to keep an eye on that last spot. Adam Elby currently in that 12th spot. He is running in the feature event. 999 of Dylan Fox, who's had plenty of alphabet spaghettios tonight. He is currently not. Pace truck down into the safety of pit road. 1 lap to find out who has a chance to run for $1,000 and who don't. Green flag in towards 1 and 2 for the final time.
LB's going to get through 1 and 2. Good for that final transfer spot back in position number 12. It's going to be about a quarter mile left if somebody's going to put LB on the trailer and move on.
Down now the back trailer for the final time. The 999 of Dylan Fox going to throw it to the bottom and hopes it sticks as they work themselves through 3 and 4. Will there be an incident or will LB be the last transfer spot? He will. The 999 of Dylan Fox will come up 1 spot short, and your 12 cars who will transfer from server number 2 will be Dylan Hauser, Virgil Graham, Shane James, Austin Carr, Jason George, Kyle Stevens, Josh Phillips, Tyler Hudson, Zach Rounds, Mike McKinney, Matt McKinney, and Adam Elby. Well, I didn't make anyone upset, Ben, but you certainly did.
I did not want to be right, but I tell you what, really good cars move on. I can't wait to see who comes out of server 1. We're going to go 100 laps, Randy, at Knoxville. First 50 caution laps count, second 50 they do not. I hope the drivers got their Gatorade and they ate their Wheaties because it's going to be an entertaining one.
Yeah, it's going to be an entertaining one for sure. We're going to have some post-race coverage coming at you, get some interviews coming through. Let's see. Let's go down for the top 5, and we'll get the bubble man. Who do we rather interview? Adam Elby, who finished 12th, or the 999 of Dylan Fox?
You know, it's a toss-up because Elby had to be sweating bullets when it goes back green, but Fox, what a heartbreaker. He drove the wheels off of it. You know what? Let's go to Dylan Fox because we might talk to Elby later tonight.
But we'll get Dylan Fox in here, see if I can find him in the server. I'll talk to him first, actually, because I know he's going to be heartbroken.
Oh, tough, man. Those cautions didn't even know favors.
Yeah, we got him now. Dylan, we wanted to talk to you because you were the heartbroken individual coming out of server number 2. We watched you, as Ben put it, run the alphabet all night. You unfortunately come up 1 spot short. How's that 999 feeling, unfortunately?
It's really not as bad as I'm sure most everybody expects. I'm actually pretty happy with myself running through everything, really. I mean, just 1 spot out isn't really too bad for me. It sucks, but nothing much I could do.
Dylan, you made me a race fan tonight because you're quick in hot laps, you're quick in qualifying, you have bad luck in the heat, and then you put the wick to it. You were on the top side when everybody else went to the bottom on those D's and C's, and man, I hate to see it come up 1 spot short, but you put on a show for everybody watching here tonight.
Yeah, I sure hope I did. I mean, I had a blast out there. It's the best guys out there running with you, so just to make it up this far is amazing.
I'll tell you what, you did Wisconsin proud tonight, sir, and I have no doubt at the next one you're definitely going to be a contender for the win.
Yep, I'll see you guys there then.
All right, well, that is That is me and Ben just stumble over each other. We're professionals, don't worry. That is your last, unfortunately your top finisher who will not make it to the feature tonight, Dylan Fox. Once again, Dylan, you put on a great show. But let's get to your winner. Let's find that number 41 machine of Dylan Hauser. See if we can get a hold of him. And here he is. See if he's still in the TeamSpeak server. A lot of guys, I'm sure, busy night of running. They might be taking a break. Let's see. Dylan, this is Randy up in the booth. You got me?
What's happening, guys?
There he is. Dylan Hauser, winner of server number 2. You're going to be getting yourself a nice little starting position, Dylan, getting your way forward in towards the 100-lap feature tonight. How's that 41 car feeling?
Oh, it's feeling excellent, man. We got her dialed in really good tonight, and we're ready to go for 100 laps.
Dylan, it stuck out to me on those restarts and really the whole night. You were able to fire faster than anybody. And any tricks, any tips? I mean, what led you getting such great starts and restarts?
I just timed them perfect. I mean, I'm just a veteran, I guess you'd call me. And we have mirrors in here, so I can kind of see. I'd let him catch up, and then right when he'd go to brake to be on my bumper, I'd nail that sucker and be gone.
Well, you put on a show in that one. Now, 100 laps, what's it going to take if you're going to pick up the Accelerated Spring Fling $1,000 top check? What's it going to take tonight for you?
You're going to have to run 100 perfect laps. I mean, we got the best in the business with us tonight, and just don't be Kyle Bronson and keep a spoiler on it.
Again, a shout out to another Florida native, and Bronson would tell you when you knock the spoiler off, maybe it gets a little bit faster. I don't know what's going to happen, but Randy, before we let him go, you got any final thoughts for Dylan?
Dylan, you look quick. Good luck in the 100 laps tonight. Don't let the nerves get to you, and everyone knows you're mirror driving now. I'd expect a bit of a shot from the rear.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for broadcasting this, and the whole deal's awesome.
You're more than welcome, my friend. It's been a fantastic show. Thank you to you guys on track for making it amazing. We're going to move on down the finishing order. Going to be Mr. Virgil Graham, who Ben is going to be very disappointed didn't come away with the win. Virgil, second place in the preliminary feature. How's that 42 car hooked up? You look quick out there all night.
Yeah, I'd say the car's ready to go. Honestly, I felt like the fastest car there, so I think I'm ready. I think I got a chance.
Virgil, that first lap, you were like a ping pong ball. You're probably just glad that you were able to survive that when they were bouncing off you, knocking you into the wall, and it really the night could have ended before it ever got started on the first lap of that feature.
Yeah, there's a lot of hungry guys out here. We're all trying to get to the same thing. We're trying to get to this big race. So a lot of aggressiveness, a lot of overdriving sometimes, but it's survival just as much as it is talent. And luckily I got both of those there in that race.
What would you say the excitement level is right now? As you know, you're about to go 100 laps with the best in the business, $1,000 on the line, but more than that, infinite bragging rights.
I pooped a little bit. It's
I like your honesty.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, we're all pumped and we're ready to go, and I was just double checking, making sure everything was good on the car and setup was good. I ran a few laps after the feature, and so I'm ready.
Well, Randy, I think the man's ready. He's pooped. He's in the show. He's gonna say finished second. I think he's gonna be a contender tonight. Yeah,
I think you're right. That 42 machine of Virgil Graham definitely going to be a contender. He was very, very fast throughout this one. And Virgil, good luck once we get to the 100 lapper tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Moving on down the line. Number 3, finishing in the 3rd spot. If you're OCD, you're going to love that one. Comes away with it, Shane James. Shane, fantastic run from you to come home in the 3rd spot. Going to be starting from the outside of that 3rd row. Have to be happy with that for a 100-lap feature event.
He's so happy. He's so happy, Randy. He's getting ready right now.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's having some technical issues. I see your light lighting up, Shane, but your voice isn't coming through. You probably have a switch muted somewhere. It's a rookie. I think everyone's made that mistake. A timer 30,000. We'll give him a second. And Shane, do you got us?
Shane said he's going to save his interview for the $1,000 victory a little bit later.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, he's going to save it. He's really putting it all on green with something like that. So let's hope so. But we'll just move on down the line, and we'll get to Mr. Austin Carr. And Austin, I predicted that you wouldn't make it through the entire night. I predicted that you go out in this one. Considering that Ben didn't make the likes of Dylan Fox particularly happy and picked him to finish 13th than he did, I figured I'd lead the interview off with that.
Wow, I don't know how I feel about that. We're just gonna try and do our best and just be patient, just pick and choose our battles out here. We have a good card. Me and Hauser have been getting these things dialed in, so it's gonna be interesting. But in this feature, we should be good. I think our biggest competition was Wilson, and he had bad luck all
Can you
night.
guys hear me now?
Yeah, we got you, Shane. Give us a couple minutes. We'll talk with Austin, and then we'll get to you.
Austin, how about two Florida guys in the top 4, Hauser and you? I mean, it seems like the Sunshine State's representing so far tonight.
Yeah, he actually lives over in Ocala. Me and him are actually teammates now, unfortunately. He's getting all of our setups, so he's getting really quick now. But yeah, we're trying to rep that Florida pride. Chase Cabre, he's also on our team. He's from Florida too, here in the Tampa area. We're gonna try and Kyle Bronson our way around here and do our thing, but just be patient and get up front.
A lot of love in here for the killer Kyle Bronson. We heard they had a shout out from Hauser. We're going to get Bronson on the next one, it sounds like, Austin. But no, I tell you what, you did a great job. And big picture, you move off to the 100 lapper. What's the key if you're going to win tonight?
The key, eventually that cushion is gonna come in. When that comes in, you just gotta be consistent up there and not make mistakes. But it's going to be interesting to see how the track plays out, because I figured the top would at least came in a little bit in that feature right there, and it didn't. So
Right.
We're going to see how the track changes and go from there. But we're just going to find out here shortly and just see what we can do.
All right, well, that's Brandon Florida's Austin Carr. He finishes 4th. And do we have Shane James? Shane, are you with us now? Oh, no. We were so close. He was like, I was there, guys, and you weren't ready for me.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for sure. I'm not sure what exactly happened, but you went from being there to now everything is evidently muted. So we're going to move on to, I believe we have the 09 machine of Jason George, who rounds out the top 5. And Jason, you got that car for last finishing spot in that top 5, but you're going to have 9 cars starting around you and ahead of you, I believe, for this feature event tonight. That's going to be a very, very busy place.
Yes, it sure is, man.
He's a man of many words. Jason, it got pretty heated out there in the feature, and there toward the end when those cautions start flying, and you know you want to get off to the 100 lapper. Are you almost happy to see some of those caution laps take out some of those chances for somebody to dial you out?
Yeah, I was just kind of taking it easy there, conservative. You didn't want to press my luck. And cautions, I was pretty happy to see the cautions.
I tell you what, you come away with a top 5 finish. The caliber of this competition, how exciting is this here tonight?
I'll tell you what, this is amazing. Great group of competitors out here racing. Just to make the show is just unbelievable. And we've had some great guys that didn't get to make the show. It's crazy. It's awesome.
Jason, you're doing the Bluegrass State proud tonight. You're going to move off to the main event. We know you got to go get ready for that, and we wish you the best of luck.
All right, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Jason George, 5th place finish. And, man, I tell you what, guys from all over the country in this one, but how about you, 2 Florida boys in the top 4? They're bringing it here tonight. You can't deny that, Randy.
Well, there's one other person who is not from the Sunshine State in Florida, but from the complete other side of the country, California boy Adam Elby. He represented the bubble position and got that last transfer spot in this one.
I started 20.
As Adam is talking to someone else in what is supposed to be a quiet server, so I'm going to have fun yelling at you and Adam and Howard after the show. But regardless, Adam, you started deep in this feature, 22nd. You come home 12th. How are you feeling after that one? That's a hard 10 spots to fight for in a 30-lap event like that.
Yeah, I knew that with 30 laps we could buy some time, and best time to try and get by people is on restarts when everybody's close. Then you kind of just buy your time when everybody's pacing around the track. So I just got the good jumps on restarts where people didn't go and just was able to get by them somehow.
Adam, what goes through your mind when they tell you you're going to have a 1-lap shootout to the checkers and you're like, I am a marked man? What goes through your mind when they tell you that?
So that first single file restart came out, and I was kind of happy with that, and we got a few laps in. That last yellow came out, and I was just like, oh, I hope it didn't. I never like for it to end under yellow. That's not fun. But being on the bubble on the last transfer spot, I was hoping we weren't going to get another one, but we did. And single file kind of helps you out. You could get a good jump on them, and just had to run a protective line.
But you're in a great race. You move off to the main event. You're going to start deep in the field, but hey, man, 100 laps at Knoxville. I think you can win from anywhere.
Yeah, I did 10 spots in 30 laps, so maybe with 100, I could be 23 spots.
Randy, the man's got a point. What can you say?
Yeah, he's got a good point. He worked his way up through that one. Maybe he can continue doing so, but, well, it's going to be a lot of spots out there in front of him, as I believe we're going to have a quick chat with the 07 of Howard Weaver, who I believe was in the other server. And Howard, other than talking to people who are supposed to be quiet in our green room, how's your race gone thus far?
Good. Hey, he started the conversation. I was just talking
No, he
in
started
general.
it.
Sounds like excuses, Weaver. I'm just saying.
Yeah, the expected excuses coming from the Tomato
That's
Man.
right.
He asked me how I was doing, and I didn't want to be rude.
Now, Howard, I believe you would have been in the other server. How did server number 1 go? We have our 12 finishers here from the first room, or from our room. How was racing in the second one, and do you have the 12 names from that one?
Yeah, actually, I do have them. Our race was really good. Me and Alex drove side by side for about 10 or 15 laps. I was faster than him, and then the bottom started going away a bit, and we were about to have a really good battle at the end, and the caution came out. But yeah, Alex won. I finished second. John Fiddler third. Drew Herchko fourth. Dan Smolders fifth. Jacob Fields sixth. Cole Newhoffen seventh. Randall Carter 8th, Garrett Nieberge 9th, Jeffrey Mays 10th, Chase Cabrera 11th, and Tyler Ducharme were the 12 from ours. It was a pretty good race. A little bit of complaining in the back, but I didn't see that, luckily.
It all ends up working out. And I know, Howard, you've been sort of involved with the setup of this event to a certain extent. How was it to see the fruits of the labor just come together and put on a big show like this?
Well, it's going pretty good now. I got the server to launch it. It was going to be up about 10 minutes earlier, but yeah, this is the biggest it's ever been. I've raced in the Spring Fling back when it was in DTR2, and it's a race that I've never won, but I've tried to, but it's kind of like Dale Earnhardt. I've always had bad luck, even whenever I've been leading it, so we'll see how tonight goes, and hopefully I can do something with them up there. There's so many fast guys, though. It's crazy.
Howard, does it almost amaze you when you look at this server, and I know you saw the same thing in yours, and you see the guys that aren't going to move on, and you're like, wow, that's how tough this field is. This many guys are going to the trailer.
Yeah, it is for real. I mean, I haven't even seen everyone that didn't make it yet, but I know I see Dylan Wilson's not in here, Justin Norwood. There's a lot of guys off the top of my head, Ricky Thornton. A lot of guys that I think of as, some of the top there is, and they're not making it. But I did get to catch a little bit of Dylan Fox there. He's a wheel man right there, coming from the back.
Yeah, that was a heartbreaker. One spot short on that one, so he's going to be watching the main event. We get ready to go 100 laps at Knoxville, and it's kind of a love-hate thing. People either love it or hate it. What do you think, if somebody's watching at home, what do you think are going to be the things to really watch in this 100-lap feature?
I'll tell you one thing. It's fuel mileage is probably going to come into play, and I don't know if everyone knows that or not, but I'm filling that tank up, and if you see me dropping back early without wrecking or anything, I'm probably worried about fuel. So hopefully they know to fill the tank all the way up, or you're going to see a lot of people running out in this one.
Wow, how about the public service announcement, Randy? Fill your tanks up, race fans, if you want to be a contender tonight for the Spring Fling title.
Yeah, it's not too often you see competitors work together like that. Who knows? It might actually be Howard throwing a little bit of bad info out there for
You'll see for yourself.
We'll have to see, but we're going to take a short break here on RaceSpotTV. We need to take a short break for us in the booth, get ourselves ready for 100 laps, and then we'll be back for that in just a few minutes. It's 4 minutes until they set the grid, so it won't be long. Don't go away.
Before you can get on track, you'll need to calibrate your wheel and pedal set. You'll need to do this in iRacing even if you have already done this using your own controller software. Prior to entering the sim, make sure you've downloaded and installed the latest drivers from the manufacturer's website. Once that's done, follow these easy steps to calibrate your controller. We recommend calibrating in a test session, so pick a car and then click test. Don't go into a practice or official session. The last thing you want to do is have you go on track and crash into another car. Once you're in your test session, click on the options button. You'll then see input calibration. this is where your calibration takes place. Start by clicking on the steering button. You will then be prompted to turn your wheel fully one direction and then another. Make sure you place your wheel back into its centering position before hitting done. Now, you'll be asked to turn your wheel 90 degrees to the left. Make sure it's at 90 and hold it there while hitting done. For pedals, click on the pedals button. Here you'll be asked to press the throttle all the way down and then release it. You'll do the same for the brake and clutch pedal if you have one. For the gearbox, you'll first be asked to set buttons for sequential shifting. Once complete, a prompt will ask if you have a H pattern shifter. If not, hit no. If yes, click it and you'll begin to map the gears individually. Once you've completed these steps, you are calibrated and ready to go racing. Team racing allows multiple iRacing members to team up and race together just like in real-world endurance series. Teammates can share driving duties, spot for one another, or be a crew chief. Team racing is free both to join a team and to create one. Each teammate races on his or her own computer from wherever they want to. Your teammates can be anywhere in the world, and changing drivers mid-race is as easy as a click of a button. iRacing features team endurance events ranging from just a couple of hours to 24 hours in length. So, if you fancy taking part in an iRacing endurance race in the future, you can learn more about team racing on the teams page on the member website.
Well, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Been an hour and a half plus of hard racing, couple different broadcasts going, and it all leads to this. 100 laps is going to be on the board, and the 11th annual Accelerated Spring Fling is coming at you on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live here, thanks to VLR. And Ben, it's been a fantastic qualifying server that we've watched thus far. A lot of names that we haven't seen are now in this field. We've seen half of these guys and what they put on tonight. The other half of the field is just as stout. This is going to be an entertaining 100 laps, drama all the way through, and $1,000 going to the winner.
Yeah, I feel like it's already been a battle, and now we're going to throw all these other guys together, guys that haven't seen each other so far tonight. Man, you can just feel it. I mean, again, over $3,800 on the line, $1,000 to the winner, all kinds of contingency money, all part of the 11th annual Accelerated Spring Fling presented by VLR. And, you know, 100 laps at Knoxville is a long time. And, you know, I do think that Howard Weaver was telling the truth when he talked to us about fuel mileage, because I've seen in real life late model events go down to the last 10 laps and guys start running out of fuel. Can that be key here tonight?
Going to be interesting to see. Nearly 100 competitors took to the racetrack tonight to set a 24-car field. We have the 24 starters for the 11th annual Accelerated Spring Fling, brought to you by VLR here at Knoxville, and let's go through it. Pole position, I've called him the best dirt iRacing driver, and he puts that sucker on pole with Dylan Hauser starting on the outside of that front row. Howard Weaver, Virgil Graham, they will roll off in second, with John Fiddler and Shane James starting on row number 3. Drew Hirschko and Austin Carr will roll off on row number 4, with Dan Smulders and Jason George on row number 5. Jacob Field and Kyle Stephens on row 6. Cole Newhoffen and Josh Phillips, row 7. Randall Carter, Tyler Hudson, row 8. Garrett DeBruge, Zach Rounds, row 9, with Jeffrey Mays and Mike McKinney on row number 10. Chase Cabre and Dylan Ducarme on row 11. And Matt McKinney, Adam Elby. Bubble Boys, they roll out on the 12th and final row. 100 laps, half mile till it gets started. Ben, final thoughts before we go green.
I think it's going to be a good one. I think you are going to see some guys early maybe look to save their equipment. We just went 30 and guys had issues. Now they got to go 100. I think that a lot of guys aren't going to show their hand until we get later in the race. But that front row, Bergeron and Hauser loaded up. I think your winner is going to come from there.
They work themselves past the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, and they have to be thinking to themselves, what have I gotten into? For some of these guys, they've come through the qualifying races. It's been a couple hours up to this point, and it's likely going to be an hour plus. But as they work themselves through 3 and 4, iRacing safety truck ducks the pit road. The 41 of Dylan Hauser tries to jump it, but the 12 machine waits a little bit, and he's going to be clear. We are green in the 11th annual Accelerated Spring Fling here at Knoxville, and Alex Bergeron leads them comfortably off of 2.
Bergeron, your leader. Hauser back in the second spot. Weaver in the third position. They'll work right through the middle of the racetrack off of turns 3 and 4. Lap number 1. Going to go to Quebec's Alex Bergeron.
Bergeron's going to lead them through. This is the format for tonight. It's a 100-lap event. The first 50 laps, caution laps count. The last 50 laps, they do not. So it's going to be a quick run to lap 50 regardless, Ben. But that last 50 laps, if we get a lot of incidents as guys get closer and closer to the end of the event, and as the track slickens up, the cars really start changing how they drive, the fuel load burns off, it could be really a long drag to the checkered flag tonight.
Blake, and I'm like you, and as long as guys keep it clean back in the pack, I think we'll click off these first 50 laps pretty quick as guys run right through the middle of the racetrack. Not just a ton of passing back to the pack, a lot of guys following each other, filling each other out, getting a feel for the race car. Again, you don't want to make a mistake early and in your night before it ever gets started with $1,000 and tons of bragging rights on the line. But as Bergeron leading the way with Hauser in second, Weaver third, Fiddler in fourth, and Virgil Graham back in fifth.
Your top 5, top 10 as they run. You get Drew Hirschko, Smulders, Carr, Shane James, and Jacob Fields. First side-by-side battle really comes just behind that. Jason George and Cole Newhoffen. They're fighting for the 11th spot, but they sort of get it solved. A little bit of an incident behind. The 04 machine was most of the way around. Looks like they're going to just about get it saved. 3 wide for a couple moments. We almost got an initial caution there early, 5 laps into this one.
And out front, how about Hauser moving to the lead? Bergeron back to second. Hauser with a big move, and Dylan Hauser leads the way, though. California driver. It's still going to be Weaver back in third, Fiddler in fourth, and Virgil Graham in fifth. Didn't expect to see Hauser get that aggressive early, but right now he's going to pace the way as we work lap number 6.
Always need to be aggressive when you feel you have the opportunity. The 41 wasted no time getting around that 12 car. Bergeron's going to settle into that second spot. Howard Weaver still in third. He was just fighting with that 02 machine, though, of John Fiddler. John has been one of the best late model drivers on some of the race spot broadcasts we've seen in the past, so I really think he's going to be a contender all night. You also have Virgil Graham, Dan Smulders, Drew Hirschko in the mix. In this one, Austin Carr in 8th, Shane James 9th, and rounding out the top 10 still, Jacob Fields. Let's do a quick little update on our Bubble Boys. The 23rd starter, Matt McKinney, he's wasted no time running through the field. He's up 9 spots running in 14th. And Adam Elby, who in the other spot, he rolled off 24th tonight. He currently is set in that 19th position. So both of the Bubble Boys in this one here tonight, Ben, they've done a good job working their way forward early.
Yeah, they are. They're making some good moves back in the pack. The guys out front, again, sorting it out as Hauser starting to stretch out his lead. You talked about Fiddler back in fourth. He won here a couple weeks ago in Knoxville in a featured event, so he's going to be one to watch as this one goes along. Again, 100 laps for a lot of these guys. This might be the longest race they've ever run, so they're going to take it easy. As a good battle now, Fiddler's going to go after Weaver. Weaver's going to fall back a spot. John Fiddler up into a podium spot. He'll go to the third. He'll set his sights on Alex Bergeron in car number 12.
One of the big things talking about this tonight, Ben, when normally we talk about the racetrack evolving and changing over an event, normally we're talking over the course of heat races and the qualifying main events and maybe a little bit during a feature, 20, 30 laps. Here tonight, 100 laps, track starting in pretty much the ideal situation, really tacky surface, where we're going to be seeing the track change over the course of this single event. And that's going to be one of the things to watch, is that the track evolves. Some people's cars, some people's setups might come up to speed, or they might drop off and come out of speed as that track changes and slickens up over the event.
Well, definitely. If you set up for a slick track for later and early, this track's got some bite in it. Although we start to see the black starting to get wider and wider, your car's not going to be as good right now as it's going to be later. Conversely, if you're a guy like Dylan Hauser, if you're this good early, you might want to be a little concerned what you're going to have late when this track starts to change. He's got a 1.8 second advantage over Bergeron right now, who is coming under fire from John Fiddler. Fiddler on the move. He started 5th. He's up to 3rd, and he's looking for 2nd as we work lap number 14.
The 02 and the 12, just 1 digit separating them. but 10 with our convoluted mathematical system. Bergeron's trying to hold on to that second spot, and Fiddler trying to make some things happen. You already see that slick groove opening up down on the bottom. See, it's starting to blacken out a little bit, and some cars started to move up towards the upper side of the racetrack. Current gap across the entire field, 9 seconds separating 24 cars. However, 7 seconds separates 23 cars because Dylan Hauser, he's wasted no time out to a 2.5-second lead as Fiddler's reeled in the 12 of Bergeron and through moving towards 1 and 2, and Smolders, he was side by side with John for a couple of moments there through 3 and 4.
Smolders has come alive. He started back in 9th, and now he's going to come after Fiddler. Good battle for positions 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 as Hauser's in a different time zone, working lap number 16. And oh, look out as Smolders gets sideways out of turn number 4. That's going to cost him a little bit of ground as now he'll come under fire from Drew Herchko, Austin Carr right there as well. Good battle for those spots, but it's Dylan Hauser stinking up the show with almost a 3-second advantage.
He's running away with this one, isn't he? As Bergeron is still holding on to the second spot. Look at this gaggle of cars. It's Bergeron, Fiddler, Smolders, Herchko, and Carr. Pretty much all nose to tail. They work themselves down the back straightaway. Bergeron goes to the bottom side of the racetrack, and he's pretty much the only driver still staying down there. You see the OT machine of Fiddler. He ran in the middle, gets a big head of steam coming off the bottom of corner number 2, and he's going to look to slide the 12 of Bergeron. A little bit of contact maybe. We have a new name. It's the second spot. That's going to be John Fiddler. Let's see if he can set his sights forward and reel in that 41 of Hauser. And now you see Dan Smolders working the top side of the 12 of Bergeron. And in the blink of an eye, the 12 machine maintains an even position, but is 2 spots back.
Bergeron's got his hands full. He is searching with that race car, trying to find where it works. I can tell you right now where he is at is not the fastest place on the racetrack. It might be where he's most comfortable. He's going to fall back, though, as out front Hauser leads the way. Fiddler, Smolders, Carr. Bergeron loses another spot, and we'll see if Fiddler can make up any ground. 3.5 seconds behind your leader as Smolders now closes in on Fiddler. That's your battle for second, and he is bringing Austin Carr to the party as well. Again, fantastic battle if you take Hauser out of it, as he is driving away from the pack, working lap number 21.
It's a 3.5-second margin still, and John Fiddler's done a good job of stabilizing that gap. In fact, him and this second group was quicker than Hauser the last time through. So these guys might be finding something. The fact that they're pushing each other so hard, Dylan Hauser out in front, might be relaxing just a little bit. Smolders and Austin Carr are going to fight. Austin's going to look to the bottom here. Groove that we saw start out early, but as we're now 22 laps into this 100-lap event, it's sort of started to go away. A little bit of contact for them. They get back single file. They head towards 3 and 4. John Fiddler going to see that and be oh so thankful for that one. There's still a lot of names up and down this field continuing to do battle. You see Cole Newhoff in the 8th spot, and he just got a big run up to the top side, and I believe lost a spot through 3 and 4, but fight's still evolving. And look at this, Ben. The timing screen doesn't lie. John Fiddler is reeling in that 41 car. The track, it might be going away from him.
Yeah, we're starting to move up to that cushion. It's getting away from that slick. It's getting higher and higher depending on the gearing, everything you got in the race car. Meanwhile, Fiddler in second, Austin Carr up to third as even Smolders back to fourth. Herchko's going to be in fifth. Alex Bergeron rides in sixth, and Howard Weaver seventh. Virgil Graham in eighth. Ninth is Shane James, and Newhoffen up into position at number 10, and Carr number 8 as we have clicked off 25 laps, a fourth of the way home here in Knoxville. The 11th annual X.CELERATED Spring Fling, $1,000 on the line as the best in dirt late model iRacing ranks go at it at the legendary Knoxville Raceway at the Marion County Fairgrounds.
And a car on the wall is a 007 from Jacob Fields. He's fallen back to the 15th spot and has sort of lost his rhythm, and he's going to lose a couple more spots. I believe he's going to be something around 18th to 19th. When the timing screens get settled out on the end of it, he's going to be 17th place. In fact, looking out in front, caution's actually going to fly. First yellow at the night. These laps will count. Who's it going to be? Who's around here early? I don't actually see. I saw cars up in the wall. Was it Hudson? Oh, the 04 machine of Cabre. Chase Cabre. He's only around for a moment there, Ben, but he's going in towards corners number 1 and 2. It actually involved the 01 machine of Tyler Hudson. Tyler got a little bit too hot into corner number 1, caught that left rear of Chase Cabre, sent him around just far enough to trigger the yellow flag. We're going to lose a few laps of green flag racing, but overall, it's going to be a nice, clean run here still. I really lose no cars with this caution, just basically going to reset the field.
Well, Dylan Hauser's going to lose his 3-second lead. Fiddler, we're going to see if Fiddler's got something for him. Austin Carr, Dan Smolders, Herchko, that's your top 5. Talk about guys on the move. Mike McKinney started 20th. He's up to 12th. Matt McKinney, his brother, he started 23rd. He's in 13th. And Adam Elby, we talked to him earlier. I said 100 laps is plenty of time for him. 24th to 14. He passed 10 cars in 30 laps and out of the B main to get in, and he's on the move right now. So there's definitely some movers and shakers as guys come forward in the field, trying to get the big win tonight. The question is, with the racetrack change and the leader race, can Dylan Hauser continue to dominate this race, Randy?
Could very well be, but at the same time for Dylan Hauser, you have to think about the fact that the likes of John Fiddler and Austin Carr had started reeling him into the tune of a tenth and a half or so per lap. So while he got out in front early and has led pretty much the first quarter of this race, with the field getting reset and that bottom groove going away, Ben, I think if you are Dylan Hauser, you can't be feeling good.
Now, and maybe right now the lead's not the place you want to be. Maybe it's good to be back there second, third, and fourth and watch what everybody else is doing. I don't know that you can go 100 laps, flag to flag and win this thing at the front of the pack. We're about to find out, though, as we may see Hauser. Maybe he's going to drop back on this restart. He's going to the bottom. That gives Fiddler the outside. Keep an eye on that 0-2.
Pole sitters, for those who are unaware, do have lane choice in this one. 41 machine wastes no time. Back to green flag racing. Lap number 30 of 100 getting logged in the books as they go into 1 and 2. The one machine of Austin Carr, he wastes no time throwing a move on the 0-2 of John Fiddler. John's going to try to get a run back down on the bottom. They come up towards the back straightaway, but nothing going just yet. 3 wide in your mid-pack. Who is that? That's going to be Howard Weaver, Shane James. Who else is that on the top side? The 8 of Cole Newhoff, and Howard's halfway around. Bit of pandemonium in the midfield, but we stay green.
Dylan Hauser continues those great restarts he had in the last one, the prelims. He leads the way, and he leads fellow Florida driver Austin Carr. Teammates in this one, they go 1 and 2. John Fiddler in third, Smolders fourth. Herchko back in position number 5, and Carr 27. Working lap number 31, and yellow will come out on the speedway.
What happened here? Oh, who is that? Car around, big contact. Someone got a piece of that. That may have been Tyler Hudson once again. It was Jason George who was the car that actually went around in the 09. Who was it that sent him around? It was James Gabriel. Fortunately, a little bit of contact coming from those two, and sort of the second time we've seen that here, Ben. Just enough of a tap to send someone around and bring out the caution flag. Not really a hard hit, and I don't think we're going to lose anyone after that. I think everyone should still be able to stay out there on the racetrack, but still just hard enough of a hit to really take some of these laps away, and maybe if you're Dylan Hauser, that's what you want.
Well, I'm kind of like you. I thought Hauser might come under fire on that last restart, and if anything, he lit the candles. So you got to wonder, maybe did he start saving his equipment before that last caution came out, backed it off a little bit, not to burn the tires off, burn the fuel. Either way, a great restart, and Austin Carr sits in second now, Fiddler in third, and I don't know that Austin Carr doesn't have the fastest car on the racetrack, no pun intended. We'll see on this restart, though. 33 laps complete, and I tell you what, overall, we're clicking these laps off pretty quick in this one here tonight.
Been pretty quick. 11 minutes already gone in this event. Keep in mind, this will turn into a potentially longer-term drag as get deeper into this race, and if incident starts coming out, which I would suspect might happen, as this place slickens up, we are going to be seeing caution laps not count. We're 15 laps away from that point, but nothing to worry about just yet, but it is still something to consider as we narrow down and get closer to halfway.
Well, it's been very entertaining so far. Racetrack is definitely changing, and we're seeing if you can't run the cushion, it's going to hurt you in this one. And we'll see you right now who can continue to run that top side, and we'll see if Hauser can continue to lead the way with Austin Carr knocking on the back door.
Let's see what happens. Once again, the 41 machine has elected to take the bottom. Green flag flies, and we are back to racing here in the Spring Fling. 66 laps remaining on the board. They head towards 1 and 2, side by side, up and down the field as they roll off toward the back straightaway.
Fiddler tries to get back past Carr, cannot make it happen. Back in the 4th spot now, it's going to be Smolders. Bergeron rebounding to the 5th spot. Maybe he's getting his feet back under him, and car number 12 out front. It continues to be Hauser as we complete lap number 35, and we start working lap 36 off into turns 1 and 2.
The through corners number 1 and 2, they are going to go. How they're stretching the margin over Carr. That is Fiddler, Smolders, Bergeron, your top 5. Herchko and Graham. Herchko tags the wall a little bit. That's going to let that 42 machine of Graham get a little bit involved with this fight. Let's see what happens as they come off the corner. No, that 42 car not going to quite be able to make anything happen of it. A little bit of rustling around the back, though. The 96 of Mike McKinney fighting with Cole Newhoffen. I think they made a little bit of contact as they come off toward the front straightaway last time through. You see McKinney really working that bottom groove on Cole, trying to make something happen.
How about the Plainfield, Illinois driver Mike McKinney, 20th, going for the 8th spot in car number 96, and he does not look like he is having any trouble at all adapting to this. He's moved up several spots. It's going to get tougher and tougher as he gets closer to the front of the pack. Meanwhile, out front, it's Hauser, Carr, Fiddler, Smolders, and Bergeron, your top 5 now with 38 laps complete.
And Austin Carr just took that race lead away from that 41 machine. Power move from him, and now he leads the Spring Fling out in front. Dylan Hauser dominated for about a 30 or so lap window, and now he finds himself running that second spot. That white Durco Media House machine doing his hardest to stretch away over the field. Now, this is what we've talked about, Ben, about 30 laps ago. The fact that different cars will come in and other cars will go away. I think Dylan Hauser had a very, very good set underneath them for a nice tacky surface. May even just have a set that works well in the slick later on. We'll have to wait and see. But that 41 machine isn't showing nearly the pace he had about 30 laps ago.
Austin Carr started back in 8th, and right now it's the battle of West Florida in this one. Ocala and Brandon duking it out at the front of the pack. Right behind them, it continues to be Fiddler in the 0-2, the driver out of Mansfield, Ohio, and he is trying to reel in as the yellow flag will wave once again, and cautions breed cautions, and we'll see it fly with 41 on the board.
This is going to be Randall Carter in the 37 machine. Let's take a quick look what happened to him. In corner number 1, it's just an individual mistake right there, and that's something that we haven't really seen too much of. Just basically going into corner number 1, caught one of those bumps a little bit awkwardly, Ben, and that pretty much just spat that car around on him. I don't think there's anything that 37 car could really do. Randall Carter, not too hard of a hit to the outside wall, but he'll get away pretty much unscathed. We'll have to start with the back as we approach halfway.
But how about this? We have a new leader now. Austin Carr at the point. Hauser back in the 2nd spot. And what do you think? Do you think Carr's improving that much? Do you think Hauser's car is going away? Or do you think that we're just approaching the middle stages and guys are really thinking about saving their equipment?
Could really go either way. I mean, Carr is definitely getting quick, but at the same time, I would be very surprised if Dylan Hauser would have came into this race with a setup that is only quick on a very tacky surface, Ben. But the way he's sort of as quick as he was earlier, and the way he sort of dropped off, I really don't know if there's any other explanation. So at the same time, for Hauser, he was fast. He was fast in our server for sure. But Carr, this sort of lap 30, lap 40 window that we're in right now has gotten very, very quick, as I believe we're going to be up set now for a single file restart.
Let's not forget their teammates, so you got to think they've got similar setups. Did they choose 2 different things? You got to wonder about that. But again, we'll see as the race goes on. Still a long time to go. Still 56 laps remaining. The 11th annual Accelerated Spring Fling here, presented by VLR at Knoxville Raceway. Legendary Knoxville Raceway had their first race back around 1904, and here we are in 2018. I bet in 1904 you couldn't have made them believe there'd be a virtual race on a thing called a computer where people from around the world will be competing against each other. So very cool stuff. Having a great time here tonight with Randy Cheneth. Glad you guys had me, and can't wait to see how the second half of this race plays out.
If you would have told them what virtual racing or computers was back in those days, they would have burned you at the stake for being number 1 car of Austin Carr. He gets into it, and he's going to bleed them now, working lap number 45 of 50. Going to be 6 laps away from that halfway window where caution laps will stop counting here in this one. They have thus far through the first half of the race. In towards corners number 3 and 4, it's going to be as they run. Carr, Hauser, Fiddler, Smolders, Bergeron the top 5. Hirschko, Graham, Newhoff, McKinney, who round out the top 10. And look at that, the 2 brothers, Mike and Matt, they've done a fantastic job kind of following each other through this field to get themselves top 10 running positions. They started 20th and 23rd in this field, and Mike's looking to work forward on Cole Newhoffen.
Mike's having a good run. He's bringing Matt with him. Bragging rights for the McKinneys. They'd love to go 1 and 2. Right now as we approach halfway, Austin Carr leads away. Hauser in 2nd, Fiddler in 3rd, Smolders in 4th, Bergeron in 5th. And don't look now, but Hauser's reeling in Austin Carr as those 2 stretch it out on the pack.
Hauser potentially picking up a little bit of pace here as the groove continues to move up towards the top side of the racetrack. Started at pretty much a perfectly clean surface in this one. We can see that sort of blue groove that's all running down now through the entry of the corners. Bergeron's trying to work his way forward as well on Dan Smolders, but he worked the bottom, didn't really pan out for him because that he just lost a lot of time and might have just dragged himself back into the clutches of Drew Hirschko, who's still looking to move up as well. As Hauser's going to take a move down to the bottom now on Austin Carr. Don't think that's going to work for him just yet. That top groove is still really nice and tacky right now, Ben. So really, I think the bottom not really a place you want to be right now.
Now, as that top burns off, though, as this race goes on, we're going to see some good slide jobs later. And right now, Hauser definitely looks faster than Carr. Carr's in the sweet spot, though, as they work that cushion down through turns 1 and 2 past the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame, down the back straightaway. And the Florida boys showing them how it's done. Carr's thinking, I think, about a slaughter through turns 3 and 4. Can he make it stick? Nope, he's going to think better of it. It'll be Austin Carr, as we are now 50 down, 50 laps to go.
Half distance and yellows no longer count. So this last 50 laps guaranteed to all be under green flag racing here tonight. This is going to be an exciting one for sure. After that little move from Dylan Hauser, Austin Carr has opened up quite the gap as he works the top side in 3 and 4, and that's going to be pretty much about a 6-7 tenths of a second margin he has. One of the biggest leads we've seen since Hauser had that 3-second gap earlier on. Then you're going to have Fiddler, who's still there, Smolders, Bergeron, then you have Hirschko, Virgil Graham, Newhoffen, and the McKinneys running 9th and 10th. And really the last 20 laps or so, Ben, it's been a very calm race thus far. I think if that bottom groove has went away and the top side has become the place you want to be, then they say that the O2 machine of Fiddler gets a run on Hauser. He's going to try to slide him in 1 and 2, but the 41 of Hauser gets the momentum off the top. He's going to take that second spot back. For the most part, things have gotten single file, and as I say that once again, I think that's one of the McKinneys I see in the back, harassing the back of Newhoffen.
I want to say for the next 20 or so laps, if somebody doesn't make a mistake, it's going to be tough to pass, but I think we're setting up for probably the final 30. This racetrack could be excellent top to bottom, and that's where you're going to see the drivers shine, the cars shine, and any little mistake is going to cost you dearly. As this racetrack is starting to even out, you can see the black strip getting wider and wider. The cushion is getting thinner and thinner, working lap number 54, now making lap 55, with Austin Carr, Dylan Hauser, John Fiddler, Dan Smolders, and Alex Bergeron leading the way here at Knoxville Raceway.
So they continue to run around here and continue taking dirt away from that top side. Look at the 41 of Dylan Hauser way up the racetrack, even getting up to a little bit of the tacky stuff and what might be described best as sort of a shelf on the upper groove of the track right now. Not really where you want to be just yet. Typically, Ben, in these cars, the fast line around this place is you just want to set that right rear wheel just above the slick. That's usually tends to be where you find the most dirt. Maybe get a few feet off the top of it, but you really don't want to be a car width up from where that slick groove is, because if you get too far up there, you get too much grip almost in those front tires. It almost ends up being something that hurts you rather than helps.
But Knoxville's only got about 7 degrees of banking, and if you get over that cushion, it sucks you up, it'll get you into the wall. And once you get into the wall, you cannot get off of it. And even if you don't get into the wall, you break that momentum, it hurts you. The one thing that I noticed right now, Austin Carr, he's got 0.4 of a second advantage over Dylan Hauser. John Fiddler, 1.6 seconds back in third. Those top 2 cars, they are stretching it out as we close in on lap 60. And again, you see Carr closing in on Hauser, and I don't know that one's necessarily better than the next. It's just if you can have a good, clean lap or not have one makes all the difference right now. Lap traffic could be a factor in this one if we stay green.
It definitely could. Right now, your first lap down car is running in 24th to the 6th of Josh Phillips. All cars still running in this event, by the way. That driver is just now heading in towards corner number 1. Your race leader is heading on towards the front straightaway. So if we stay green, we could definitely get some lap traffic over the course of a 100-lap event like this. Currently working lap number 60 of 100. Going to be 40 laps to go when they get to the stripe. Dylan Hauser has reeled in Austin Carr, and he's looking very, very good. I don't know what you have to do to a race car, Ben, to make it be quick in the tacky and quick in the slick, but Hauser may have done it.
Well, you do, and I think it comes back to the driver, too. You got to have a good car, but you got to be a good driver to be able to handle both, and you find that happy medium. Fiddler's starting to make up some ground now, just 1.2 seconds back. He was 1.7 a few laps ago. 4th is going to be Smolders. 5th going to be Bergeron. In the 6th spot, it's Hirschko. 7th will be Virgil Graham. Newhoffen in the 8th spot. Back in the 8th spot, then in the 9th will be Matthew McKinney. Mike McKinney in 10th. That rounds out your top 10 as we work lap 62 out of turn 2, and Hauser wants one mistake from Austin Carr, and meanwhile, Fiddler ever so slightly just catching your top 2. He's knocking about a 10th a lap off as we continue to knock out laps in the second half of the accelerated spring fling.
Not seeing very many position changes the last 15, 20 laps or so, but we're starting to get to that point, Ben, where that middle part of the racetrack has really gone away, and that upper groove is really starting to get narrow. And this is going to be the point where this racetrack starts getting very, very racy. Got to think to our qualifying server that we watched about an hour and a half ago now. We saw it was around this point that bottom groove kind of started coming back in, and this place started getting racy. I think here, from about lap number 65 to maybe about lap 85, lap 90, is probably going to be the best this racetrack is in terms of multi-grooves and raceability for these guys.
I really think it is, and I think the key right now is to keep your left front out of that slick. As you get through the middle of the corner, you want to slide up, and that's where Hauser's able to make a little ground on Austin Carr when Austin Carr drags that left front through that slick. And as I say that, Austin Carr stretches it out just a little bit, as we now just have 35 laps remaining, and it's been an all-Florida affair so far. Hauser led early. Austin Carr took control. Those two Florida drivers lead the way. John Fiddler, though, high and rides in position number 3, with Dan Smolders back in the 4th spot, the Ontario, Canada driver. And now your top 5, Alex Bergeron in car number 12, the driver out of Drummondville, Quebec, as drivers from all over North America in this one as we approach lap number 70.
Alex is a driver we definitely need to watch in this one because he's sort of come back on strong here as the track is starting to slick up. He is someone who generally likes running the bottom. We've seen him do that in the past here on RaceSpotTV as these tracks slicking up. But the 27 of Drew Hirschko is going to say, you know what, I'm going to try the bottom. He wants himself a top 5 spot, but Bergeron's going to hold fast up on the top side, gets a big run his head of steam. See these cars bouncing over the ruts here. The 02 car, John Fiddler, as well, is harassing Dylan Hauser in the 41. So these guys feel this track is getting really racy, and positions are starting to swap up and down your field up near the front.
Well, it's go time. We're approaching 30 to go, and now Fiddler closes in on Austin Carr, and here comes Fiddler as he's gone past Hauser. He'll go past Carr. Do you have a new leader on a turn at number 2 down the back straightaway? No, Carr turns back down the hill. They head off into turns 3 and 4. They'll race back to complete lap number 69. Carr with the block through turns 3 and 4. Fiddler in the 2nd spot, and we'll work lap number 70 off into 1 and 2. 30 laps to go, and now your top 4 cars with Dan Smolder in the fold get better and better as Fiddler's going to go for the lead on a turn number 2. Oh, he'll get sideways. Contact. Smolders goes around, and we've got chaos as the yellow flies.
The yellow flies, and once again, it's an ideal situation, Ben. And there's just good hard racing. There's a couple little taps that sent that 99 car around. And with, I believe, 69 laps scored complete at the time of that yellow, it will be 31 laps to go. We still have 24 cars running, 24 cars on the lead lap. I think if you would have asked anybody who was trying to qualify for this race, all nearly 100 drivers that attempted to get their way into this event, this deep into the race, I think they would have expected probably about a quarter of the field gone.
I think you're probably right. And how about a heartbreak right there for Smolders? He was having a great run, wrong place at the wrong time, and he goes from racing his way to the front to now currently shown back in 9th. We'll see where they put him in the order. But Austin Carr leads the way. John Fiddler has come to life, that is for sure. And if Austin Carr, Dylan Hauser, Hirschko, and them are going to win it, I think they're going to have to run Fiddler because Fiddler has definitely set up for the final half of this race.
Definitely was. That 02 car is absolutely quick. Like we said, this racetrack will continue to evolve. The rest of this event will be finished. The green flag racing, there will be cautions for incidents, but those laps do not count. They will not count, so look for things to still happen. Incident car of Dan Smolders, he's going to be restarting in the 9th spot, so not going to be at the end of the day. We're getting word 69 laps have been scored complete, so 31 laps to go for these guys when we go back to green.
Well, we'll get set to get this one back underway. Austin Carr, he had looked like he had a really good race car, and then Fiddler just caught him out of nowhere. It was like as we get to lap 65, Fiddler turned up the wick. And on this restart, you got to wonder, the first couple laps on this restart, will we see a slide job for the lead? And if they let Fiddler get out front, that might be all she wrote in this one.
So they work themselves down the back straightaway. Lights out on that iRacing safety car. The field gets, well, actually, no, the lights aren't out just yet. The field is doubling up. I think a little bit of confusion from these guys. Pole sitter does have the advantage of being able to pick where they restart, Ben. They can pick the outside or inside line. I think they're just trying to figure out where Austin's deciding to go. At the same time, if you're Austin Carr, where do you decide to go? Because the top is strong, but the bottom's coming back in as well.
Yeah, and, you know, man, I don't think you want to – I think you want to enter turn 1 and 2. You want to enter in the middle and slide up to the top to block that slide job on the restart. But past that, I still think the top's pretty good if you can make your car stick up there.
It'd be hard to say. Carr is going to opt for that bottom groove, so he's going to defend from the sliders, but at the same time, top side is where you want to be. So if Austin Carr makes any little mistake here on this restart, I think John Fiddler is going to be more than prepared to make something happen. It's been about a 30 or 40 lap run since we went back to had a yellow. So for these guys, first time we've seen them reset in a while, and let's see what happens. Pace truck down to the safety of pit road. Couple cars in the wall under yellow, even though it's running in the second, and I believe we just got word Austin Carr just got an EOL.
Wow. Wow, not sure what happened there.
I'll go poke race control and ask what happened, but that is devastating.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's huge. You go from the lead to the end of the line, and let's not forget, end of the line's back to around 24, so not sure what happened with Austin Carr. Maybe did not declare his line soon enough, and that is why they have sent him to the back. Either way, your leader, oh my goodness, that could be a $1,000 mistake.
So, getting word that you got an EOL for not lifting, which I'm sure if you're a gym rat, you'll be happy with that. But we're going back to green flag racing. The 02 machine's going to lead them here. John Fiddler, the 41 machine of Dylan Hauser, very nearly did so. The 12 car of Alex Bergeron is still very relevant, and he suddenly finds himself running in second.
Wow, so Fiddler to the lead, Bergeron up into the second spot after fading early in the race. We got a couple bouncing off the wall back in the pack. They're 2 and 3 wide, and racing action is coming to life here in the final quarter of this race here tonight at Knoxville Raceway. And yellow will fly.
Yellow flies once again after a couple laps getting scored complete. Let's see who this was. Mike McKinney, who had such a fantastic race running through the tail of the field. He gets a big incident on the front straightaway. He climbed the fence near the timing beam.
Wow, tough break for that driver as he raced his way up through the pack. And don't look now. How about fourth place runner started 23rd, Matthew McKinney, possibly fifth now. McKinney on the move as his brother brings out the caution. Matt McKinney on the move, though, up in position number 5 in car number 97. As some guys making moving and shaking. As we said, Randy, it's time to go now. There's no point saving anything else. Laps are ticking away in this one.
Laps taken away for sure. I believe we have 30 laps remaining now at the time of this restart. So this is going to be an interesting one. John Fiddler in the 02 now leads. Dylan Hauser second. Bergeron has gone from 5th to 3rd in seemingly the blink of an eye. Virgil Graham has been seemingly 4th, 5th, or 6th on the racetrack pretty much the entire going of tonight. Matt McKinney, who I think if anyone would have picked a McKinney to be out front towards the end of this, it would have likely been Mike Ben. But for Matt McKinney, he's having a fantastic race thus far. Started on the final row of this grid, and he finds himself in the top 5 coming up on 30 laps remaining.
I had a little birdie tell me today that in the real world, Mike McKinney is the ace out on the racetrack, but in the iRacing world, that Matt McKinney's got the nod, and right now he is showing that up into the 5th spot in car number 97. Definitely on the move, plenty of time to get to the front. Fiddler's going to be tough up there. You got to believe that. Fiddler coming to the front. He won here at Knoxville a few weeks ago, and now he finds himself back out front.
And a little bit of an explanation on the incident, by the way, with Austin Carr and the rationale behind it from race control. It is one of the rules in the rule book that says that if an incident is going to come out, you do have to sort of give a good effort in avoiding an incident. Looks like we're going to have a double file race. Seems to be confusion up and down the field. 69 laps still scored complete in this one as John Fiddler is going to take the inside. Dylan Hauser takes the outside as everyone gets themselves sorted. Gets themselves stacked back up. Another driver who's running well, the 01 machine of Tyler Hudson, 16th place up to 7th. Chase Cabre, 21st to 8th. We're going back to green flag racing. Bit of contact from Bergeron behind as the stack up was commencing. Guys getting aggressive now as the lap count is really, really down low. Ben on the restarts, and they're 3 and 4 wide in the mid pack through 1 and 2.
They work lap 70 out of turn 2 down the back straightaway. Fiddler, your leader, but now here comes Bergeron battling with Hauser for the 2nd spot right behind them. Good stuff with Virgil Graham and Matthew McKinney. 2-3 wide. This racetrack is widening out as it's starting to equalize from top to bottom.
With 30 laps remaining in this one, the 01 machine of Tyler Hudson is making his presence known as he's trying to get up towards the top 10. Fights with Alex Bergeron, and he made that look easy down on the bottom. Where has the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series champion come from? He started deep in this field, was running 12th, 13th most of the night, and suddenly he's running in that 3rd spot, working his way forward.
He might be not done there. He's going to come after Hauser and Fiddler as they work out of 2 down the back straightaway up to the 2nd spot. How about it for Tyler Hudson? He's the first driver to make that hub line work right around the low side. Fiddler up top. They complete another lap, but we're about to have a battle for the lead as here comes 16th starting Tyler Hudson working the low line in Knoxville.
John Fiddler in the 02, Tyler Hudson in the 01 as they work themselves down the back straightaway. Tyler has found a lot of speed here late in this event. He's going to work down through that inside groove and try to find a big head of steam to get a run on John Fiddler. He's there side by side for the race lead in the 11th annual Accelerated Spring Fling at Knoxville, if I could speak. Hard for me to say for sure. And Hudson still wants to get to the point. He's going to nose out and head for the moment, but look at the momentum up top for John Fiddler.
Hudson gets out of that moisture on the bottom. Side by side, will you have a new leader? Yes, sir, you do. Tyler Hudson will lead that lap. Tyler Hudson takes the lead, and he's making that low line work. Up top, Fiddler losing ground. Can Fiddler go to the bottom? His race car might not be set up for that, as he's not even going to try it, as Hudson goes past him. Back in third, it's Bergeron. Up on the high side of him, it's going to be Hauser. Cabaret on the move as well. He's up to position number 5 in the 0-4.
25 laps remaining here in the spring fling, and Tyler Hudson leads the way, a name we are definitely familiar with seeing out in front in the past on iRacing, but he's become an employee in recent years. Doesn't race as much as he used to, but he's very relevant here in the super late models, and he is making his presence known. And he's not only out in front, Ben, he's stretching the gap. It's almost out to a 1-second lead for him over John Fiddler. He's making this look easy out there.
Well, there's other guys trying to run the bottom, but nobody can make it stick as well as Tyler Hudson. And Tyler's set up for there, and again, the driver's had experience on pavement in iRacing. The racetrack getting slicker and slicker like pavement. He's working that low groove, keeping the car nice and straight. He leads the way. Back in the second spot, it will still be Fiddler. Third, Bergeron. Fourth will be Cabaret. And it's going to be Niehoffen up into position at number 5 as he's on the move in car number 8. He started 13th. Cabaret started 21st. He's into the 4th spot.
People moving up and down this field. This racetrack has really changed. Alex Bergeron coming back in the mix as we got a caution flying out there on the racetrack. I see Drew Hirschko is slow. That's going to be, I believe, with about 22, 23 laps remaining. And oh yeah, the 27 machine, he got hooked by the 6 of Josh Phillips, who kind of just came out of nowhere. Josh got a big run, and well, Drew was a little bit slow, and I actually think, I don't know if Josh even really saw him. I think he was expecting to have a clear run out in front of him, and the 27 was so slow that he just sort of bumper hooked him there coming down the front straight.
Wow. Well, getting, again, down into these final 20 or so laps, and, I mean, what can you say about your leader, Tyler Hudson? 16th to the lead at about 70 or so laps, and he's running a groove that other guys are trying. As we said, they can't quite make it work down there, and you got to wonder, can anybody get down there and run with him? Because clearly the bottom is the place to be if you can make your car stick down there at the moment.
And actually talking about that, Ben, thinking about what we saw on our qualifying server, think about what, you know, this track might end up turning into. We might have a very big cushion form up on that top side with about 5 to 10 laps to go. I think the next 10 laps, 15 laps of this race, as there's about 22 still left of racing. 78 laps have been scored complete. If those guys that can work the bottom right now, if once we get that cushion up top, I don't know if those guys who can have a car that runs well on the bottom are going to be able to sling the cushion quick enough to work their way through the field.
I just think that cushion's going to be too far around the top. I could be wrong, but I think with that bottom coming in, there's a nice brown ring around that bottom, and I think with 22 laps to go, I think that if you can run the bottom, you're going to be better than those guys on the top. But hey, we're going to have 22 laps to figure it out, because they're going to take them around one more time, as they're not quite where they need them to be.
We're going to get in a little bit more of a caution flag here, run a couple more laps. Again, these laps do not count. First 50 yellow flags did count. Last 50, they do not. Field is going to get themselves set. I believe we still have all cars. No, we're missing one car. It's the 24 of Cole Newhoffen, the 24th running Cole Newhoffen, who's in the 8, the only car who's currently not on the racetrack. So 20 laps to go, Ben. 23 cars still running. I don't think you could ever ask for anything more.
No, it's good, and you got to wonder, those guys hustling the top too. Does fuel mileage become an issue with these caution laps thrown in? Early in the race, we didn't have many caution laps when they counted. Now that they don't, these are counting against what you've got in the fuel tanks. That's going to be interesting as well.
So as the track changes, the cars change, and these guys are going to get more and more worn out. Some of these guys have been racing for the better part of 2 or 3 hours. Let's see how it's going to shake up. 22 laps left in this thing. Green flag back in the air. The 01 machine of Tyler Hudson gets on it. Can he bring pride back to the iRacing office? We are green. And look at the 12 of Bergeron. Big move through the middle. He's going to hold the second spot down the back straightaway.
He's going to go to the top. He's going to try to prove me wrong and show that you can go back to the lead on the top side. He'll work the top through turns 3 and 4 so he complete another lap. And Bergeron's got a head of steam. He very well may ride that top to the lead. We'll see if your leader, Tyler Hudson, can nail that bottom just a little bit better. Good battle, though, for 2nd through 8th as they flare out 2 and 3 wide.
This car is all up and down the bottom and top side of the racetrack. Line is stern. The 02 machine of John Fiddler. He's still fighting with Alex Bergeron. He's going to be able to just squeak by. We're going to get another quick caution here as drivers were all over the place. Oh, upside down is Jacob Fields, the 007 machine. Big incident out there on the racetrack.
going to get upside down as chaos picked up, and we knew it as we got down into the final 20 or so laps of this race. Guys are taking chances. They're coming forward, and I'll be honest, I really thought for a minute there that Bergeron was coming to the lead on the top, and then his car bobbled, and that allowed Hudson to pull out. Fiddler now up to position number 2.
That's what we've seen over the course of this one, Ben. It's the big talking point, not only the racing line in terms of it slicking off in the corners, but the big ruts that you have specifically on entry into these things. I mean, you're talking about where you're getting off the throttle, maybe even using the brake a little bit, really trying to slide that car. And just as you're doing that, you have a big rut on the entry into 1 and 3 that's just going to shake up everything. You need to have that figured out even coming into this. And really, I don't know if there's any way to even prepare for the track to quite get like that. So for these guys, they're sort of having to improvise in these cars because they're in conditions they may not have been in before. Like you said, this might be the longest race a lot of these guys have run. To be able to run a track like that is hard work in these cars.
That's definitely tough, and getting down toward the end here, you're mentally tired, and you start thinking about doing things that otherwise you might not otherwise, and it can make a big decision. So as we look at it, one guy I want to point out, he's back up to 8th, and you wonder, can he get there? Austin Carr, after that end-of-line penalty, can he rebound to get to the lead?
It's going to be one of the big ones for sure. It seems McKinney got himself an EOL. Had a big issue there coming off of the berm. Seems like they deemed him the cause of that incident. So I believe they're talking about Mike McKinney, who runs in 22nd. We have lost another car now. Jacob Fields and Cole Newhoffen. They're both the cars sat down on pit road. Their night's ending not the way they would like. But as the lights go out on the iRacing safety truck, green flag coming back out. Where is the speed going to be? Who is going to be able to bring this one home? Green flag is back in the air. Owen Hudson already opening a margin here on the restart, and he immediately goes back to the bottom feeding the way he has been to get his way out front.
Tyler Hudson with a great restart. Meanwhile, Fiddler coming under fire from Bergeron as they work off into turns 3 and 4. And look at that, Fiddler's going to work on the low side. Can he reel in Tyler Hudson down there running the same groove? And I tell you what, he might be making up a little bit of ground in the 0-2 on your leader in the 0-1.
Hudson doing his best. See the O2 machine work down to the bottom side of the racetrack as well. His 81 laps scored complete, so 20 laps remaining in this event. Bergeron's going to go to the bottom. 42 car behind him is going to go to the bottom. You see Chase Cabre, the first car, going up to the rim, and everyone's pretty much liking this low line at the moment. So it's going to be a little while till we see people up there. 12 Bergeron tries it. He didn't get it quite right. All over the place up there, and he's going to go backwards, and because of that, move the 42 of Virgil Graham into that 3rd spot.
But you got to give it back there. Bergeron trying to make it work, but right now, as I said earlier, you just got to wonder with no more laps left in R, is that low line just going to be too good for too long for that top to ever catch up with it? And if you don't miss that bottom, I don't know if it's somebody on the top can make it work. And you look at Bergeron, he is really abusing his car back there on the top side, just trying to hustle that high side. Cabre rides in the 5th spot. Zach rounds in 6th. Austin Carr 7th. Hauser in 8th. McKinney 9th. Shane James rounds out your top 10 in car 3.
Tyler Hudson continues to lead here in the closing stages. John Fiddler in the 2nd spot with 84 laps scored complete when they got to the timing, beating that time through, coming to 85 laps down. So 16 laps to go in this one as they work themselves toward the front straightaway, and Hudson is continuing to stretch a margin. Graham is in 3rd, and they're nearly 4 wide for the run in towards corner number 1. Bergeron tags the wall. The 3 machine tags the wall. Things are getting physical.
Oh, we got him turned around down the back straightaway. It looks like the car number 29 going to go around of Zach Rounds. He's going to collect somebody else as well, as I think the caution may be out.
Caution is indeed out. A couple drivers went around there as they worked themselves through. Where did that actually come from? I sort of missed the incident, unfortunately.
I looked up and Zach Rounds had been turned in the 29, but I don't know what initially started it.
Oh, yep, I see it now. I started a little bit behind from what I saw, and he was just sort of close racing. I think he might have got a little bit of a tap from the one of Austin Carr behind.
Well, it looks like we're going to have 15 laps unofficially remaining in this one. We'll get the official count, but 15 laps to go. And I tell you what, Randy, that bottom line is awfully good. I don't know if there's time for that top groove to come in enough to be able to get there.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for sure for these guys. They run out there. It's might be a situation where you have 1 or 2 laps where the cushion is really, really strong, and might have to be a last lap pass that we see end up deciding this.
Well, you see some of the guys back there trying to pack the cushion under caution. You know, you look back there and you got guys like Cabre and Bergeron trying to run that cushion in, trying to get something to lean on when we go back green, packing some of that moisture. And I tell you what, though, Tyler Hudson, he has driven a flawless race probably the last 30 laps. Can he finish it here tonight?
That's going to be the big question mark. 15 laps remaining here in the spring fling at Knoxville. I pronounced it right that time, Davis Richards. No need to meme on me anymore. The field's going to run their way through 1 and 2. Speech impediments are hard, man, when you're a commentator. I do not recommend it in the slightest. Tyler Hudson, 15 laps remaining tonight. We saw him, I believe, in the B main in qualifying server number 2. That's going to be the big story for a lot of these guys. You know, many of these guys would have came from some of those qualifying races to get their way through and having a chance to win in this one. Still 22 cars running. Who is it going to be at the end of it? 15 to go as they come to the green flag as Tyler Hudson leads them down the front straightaway and again opens up a big gap.
Tyler Hudson again running right through the bottom. He'll slide up a little bit into the black down through turns 1 and 2, and that's going to allow Fiddler to make a little bit of ground back behind them. And car 04 is going to be Cabre trying to hustle that high side. Can he get there? As we'll have 14 laps to go up into the fence behind him. Looked like maybe Bergeron got over the berm, and we got one spun around, and caution will wave.
So immediate lap coming, caution coming through there. We're starting to stack them up, Ben. Can you tell people are getting aggressive? As right, it was Bergeron who sort of hopped the cushion there, and that 3 machine really had nowhere to go, unfortunately. So because of that, we go to yellow once again.
Yeah, and I think guys, again, their cars are gone, their equipment's gone, and they're pushing it further than their cars can go right now. So I think that's another thing you're seeing back there. And trying to run that cushion, it's pretty much up there against the fence. There's nothing to get a hold of. And again, if you get in there too hard, you're going to go straight to the fence.
So 14 laps will be scored, left, on timing and scoring. So for these guys, still a lot of laps remaining, and that's one of the things to talk about, Ben, is that early on in this race, guys were able to get into a rhythm and sort of just run calm and smooth laps, get themselves out there in some relatively clean air. Now these guys are pushing things to the limit. They're running lines that they weren't normally doing so earlier, and they're trying to push a lot harder than they were earlier on. Because of that, we're getting yellows on yellows here.
And it does, again, and we probably haven't seen the last of them either, but right now, Tyler Hudson looking really good out front, the New Hampshire racer, and he is trying to pick up a very, very big win here tonight.
You know who's going to be happy with this sort of 1 lap and then yellow, 1 lap and then yellow is Tyler Hudson, because it gives him the ability for the laps to just sort of tick away, just sort of 1 lap gone. You know, him being the control car on the restarts, he basically gets an immediate jump to get his way out in front. You know, if he's completely happy with this just going on till the end. I don't think anyone else is, though. Certainly not us.
Yeah, and you know the other thing about it, it gives nobody a chance to get momentum built up around the top either. So if we're going 1 lap at a time at Knoxville, when the racetrack gets to this point, it's already a slim chance you're going to get a run on the top. But if you're going a lap at a time, you're never going to get a head of steam built up to get past somebody that's running that low groove.
So still 14 laps left in this one. Currently had about 25 laps or so of yellow flags that have not counted through the second half of the race. So thinking about the fact that most of the start of the race, first half of the race is under green, it's been a caution-filled last 50 laps of this event. But
well,
it's been exciting one, hasn't it?
It has. It's been entertaining watching the track change. Pace truck pulls to the infield. We go back green. And again, it's going to be Tyler Hudson, the man to beat as we get down inside the final 15 at Knoxville Raceway. The accelerated spring fling. $1,000 goes to the winner. And right now, the New Hampshire racer leads the way, Tyler Hudson.
14 down. 14 to go in this one as he continues to work the bottom. You see up on the top, the 04 machine of Chase Cabre. He tries to work the cushion, but ends up finding the wall. 13 laps remaining now as John Fiddler has figured out how to make that bottom work, and he's harassing Tyler Hudson. You see everyone getting to the top side, and there is not a very thick groove, and we again get a lap or two, and then caution, yellow flies again. 75 cars around, that's Adam Elby.
Yeah, LB, I tell you what, if we can go green on this final dozen or so laps, I think we're going to have a great finish. And I'm not so sure right now that Fiddler's not running the bottom better than Hudson. And if we get down to the final lap or two, he may give him a little love tap to get him out of that ring of moisture to go by for the win.
You know, Ben, I know with one of the latest updates on iRacing, one of the big talking points on the dirt side is the cushion, and a lot of people feel it's a little bit too strong. No one in this field right now looks good enough to run it. Every car we see try to get to the top just finds the wall.
Yeah, it's You know, and again, you know, it could be the way the track settings are on this. And again, if you go to Knoxville Raceway, this is real Knoxville Raceway. One night it's one on the top, the next night it's on the bottom. Some nights when it gets slick like this, you can see some guys that can go in and slide all the way across that slick and catch the cushion and get a run off of it. But I just don't know that there's enough of a curb up there to really be able to get enough bite to make that groove work. And that's why you're seeing these guys on the bottom. Now, with that said, this bottom is starting to slow down just a little bit, especially with all these caution laps. Is there a chance somebody could throw a Hail Mary like a Cabre and find his way to the lead back there in car 04?
Very well might be the situation, as I believe it will be 13 laps to go here once we get the restart. It's going to get a little bit of confirmation here in a moment, but regardless, things are heating up, and with that top side coming in the way it is, anything is still potentially up for grabs. And of course, that 02 machine of John Fiddler, Ben, is looking very, very quick on the bottom now as well. He's got it figured out.
He really does, and that's why I think if we go long green flag run, you can see it gets settled between Hudson and Fiddler, and the Christmas card list could get shorter for one of those drivers because it might involve just a little bit of contact just to get you out of that moisture, because Hudson's leaving that door open just slightly, and Fiddler might try to squeeze his way through there, especially with $1,000 and a lot of prestige on the line in this one here tonight.
A lot of prestige. Tyler Hudson, will he have the experience? He's won a championship, a world championship on the iRacing service in the past. Will that potentially come into effect? Will it be a mentality that potentially works its way through and being cool under pressure? Green flag flies, 13 laps remaining in the spring fling here at Knoxville. Tyler Hudson back down to the bottom. Guys trying to make that top work. We've seen it be a struggle the last handful of laps, but they're through clean right now.
Hudson got a masterful restart, and on the other hand, Fiddler's missing his groove just a little bit. He got up on that berm on the inside, and that's allowed Hudson to pull out now with a half-second lead, as Cabre still tries to run that high side back in the third spot. Then now Matthew McKinney up to 23rd to 4th. How about the drive for the pilot of car number 97? Great run, Jeffrey Mays in 5th after starting 19th.
Coming to 11 laps remaining, Matt McKinney has worked his way forward. Tyler Hudson is comfortably out there. See a number of drivers working the top. Chase Cabre is trying to make that work with Jeffrey Mays up there as well. You also have Alex Bergeron trying to make something happen late in this race. Saw him on pole, but right now it's all Tyler Hudson out in front, John Fiddler in second, and the closest fight right now is between Cabre and Bergeron for third.
Bergeron with a huge slide job on Cabre. They're having a great battle back there. Meanwhile, another lap completed, and your leader, Tyler Hudson's ever so slightly creeping away from John Fiddler as the caution will wave and erase that lead.
I think that's going to bring us to 10 laps remaining. So final 10 laps of this one, I think it might have been the 16 of Jeffrey Mays. So another one of those, not a big incident, but just sort of a little bit of a shot, just enough to send him around, and that's going to bring out a caution. So Jeffrey Mays unfortunately gets caught up in something. Most of the field able to stay clean, but notably no cars with big damage after that one, and that's what counts.
Well, with roughly 10-11 laps to go, 22 cars still in the race here tonight, and it's Tyler Hudson leading the way, and boy, he hates to see that caution because he got a great restart. John Fiddler did not. How about Matthew McKinney, the Illinois racer, 23rd to 3rd. He has picked up 20 spots, that driver on the move. Cabre back there in the 4th spot. He started 24th. He's up to 4th. And your pole sitter, Alex Bergeron, he rides in position number 5 as we get down to crunch time in this one here tonight with $1,000 on the line. Total payout over $3,800. The 11th annual X.CELERATED Spring Fling presented by VLR.
Just for reference, everybody in this field has made their entry fees back plus some. So 10 more to go in this one as things are going to get exciting. And, well, I mean, that shows you the skill level. To even make the field, Ben, you're still in the money.
That's right. But they want the big money. They want the big money. They want the win. They want it all. And right now, Tyler Hudson is the guy they are gearing for. And if he can get a restart on that like he got on that last one, he's going to be tough to deal with.
Yeah, he definitely is. We've seen that 01 machine of Tyler Hudson. He's been locked down to the bottom, but we know that John Fiddler has speed. But really, all it might take right now, Ben, is for Tyler Hudson to get a good restart and maybe find the right groove at the right time. And there may not be an opportunity for John Fiddler here with 10 laps remaining in this race at Knoxville. Bring us back to green.
Yeah, the only thing to say, though, is Fiddler was making up ground on Hudson just a little bit before that caution came out. If he can get a good start, he may have a chance. Pace Truck's going to pull to the infield as we come back green. About 10 laps to settle it for $1,000 here tonight. Tyler Hudson, the point man. He'll gas her up and bring us back to green flag at Knoxville Raceway, Knoxville, Iowa, the 11th annual Accelerated Spring Fling. And there again, Hudson gets a fantastic restart, Randy.
Fantastic restart, but John Fiddler is not very far away. Matt McKinney's trying to work the top as well. As we have 10 laps to go at Knoxville, who's it going to be in towards 3 and 4? Matt McKinney still working the top. You also see Chase Cabre and Alex Bergeron working it up there. Coming to timing and scoring, 9 laps remaining in this one. And will that top come in strong enough in time for those guys to work their way forward? Or will it be the bottom feeders, the 01 and the 02 of Fiddler, who be strong here? 8 laps remaining when they get to start-finish.
There's not much left on the bottom, but those guys are trying to roll it. Meanwhile, there's a freight train trying to come on the high side. This one could go down to the last lap as Matthew McKinney trying to get ahead of steam and put that time by. He's going to lose 0.2 of a second to your leader. That might tell you right there, just not enough up top. As out front, Hudson, your leader. Fiddler closing in on him last time by 0.3 of a second. Fiddler closes in. There could be a little bit of contact deciding the outcome of this one here tonight.
Going to stay clean for now, though, as they head down towards timing and scoring. 7 laps remaining, 93 down. There's a little bit of contact, I think, but the 0-1 of Tyler Hudson holds his nerve as they work down the back straightaway in towards 3 and 4. Hudson known for his peak antifreeze series skill, his skill in the NASCAR side of things, but he looks cool as a cucumber here down on the inside, and 6 laps remaining here at Knoxville.
Fiddler tried to step to the outside, couldn't get a bite. He's going to try to close back in on the bottom. I still think if he's going to get around him, somehow he has to find a way on that low line to get past him. Meanwhile, 3 wide back there for third with McKinney, Cabre, and Bergeron. Laps ticking away as we race back to 5 to go.
5 laps remaining, and they're still battling that trio back there. You have Bergeron, Cabre, and McKinney 3 wide once again in towards 1 and 2, and I think it's going to be the middle group that prevails. A little bit of contact might turn into a 4-car scrap as they're still trying to duke it out, and it's going to be Matthew McKinney who holds on to that. 4 laps remaining coming to the stripe.
Matthew McKinney on the hole. Cabre's going to bounce off the wall. They're going to let the top 2 cars decide it among themselves if we stay green. Good battle back there for third on back. Meanwhile, out front, inside of 4 laps to go, and it's still Hudson, your leader. Fiddler waiting on one mistake. Can he get to him?
Coming to 3 laps down, we have to shift focus out in front. The fight is amazing for fourth, but Fiddler, he's right on the rear gearboxes. He can be able to make something happen. He goes up top, doesn't quite hook it up, but look at the run. They might be side by side down the back straightaway.
Fiddler was shooting rooster tails out of turns 1 and 2. He's going to hit the Sonic across the street. Meanwhile, here comes down with 2 laps to go. Can he get there? He's driving it for all it's worth. He made up ground down in 1 and 2. He gave it away down in 3 and 4.
2 laps remaining. They're going to see the popsicle sticks when they went under the timing beam that time through, as Tyler Hudson is going to be leading for now, but will he have it out? Fiddler's tried the top, and it's not worked out for him. Through corners number 3 and 4. White flag waving at the starter stand, and Tyler Hudson from 16th on the grid has one more half-mile trip around the Knoxville Speedway to potentially win himself the spring fling. Down now, the back straightaway for the final time. Fiddler has a big head of momentum, and Hudson goes back down to the bottom once again. Through now, through corner number 4, and as he comes it off, he works the bottom with a big run with Fiddler, but it's not going to be enough. Tyler Hudson wins it here at Knoxville.
Fiddler's going to come home second, Matthew McKinney in third, Virgil Graham in fourth, Bergeron in fifth, and it's going to be Herchko, Ducharme, Cabre, Carter, and George rounds out your top 10. But the big winner tonight, Tyler Hudson in car 01. It was not for lack of effort by John Fiddler, though, Randy. What a race.
No, it wasn't. He tried everything there at the end. We saw him on the bottom. We saw him on the top. But we talked about the fact it would have to be a big, long race from this one. You'd have to be there at the end, Ben. And look at this. Guys came from deep in this field. Your race winner up 15 spots to take victory. Fiddler started in the top 5, but Matthew McKinney, he passed 20 cars to get himself up to third. He started on the final row of this thing. Then we have a lot of other movers up and down this one. Tyler Ducharme's up 15 spots, up 13. It's Chase Cabre who finished 8th. A lot of your top 10 not finishing in the top 10 in this one.
Yeah, it did. There was a lot of movers and shakers. Bergeron's probably a little disappointed coming home 5th after starting on the pole. Tyler Hudson, $1,000 richer, claiming the 11th annual Accelerated Spring Fling presented by VLR.
So let's go down your post-race results after this 11th annual Accelerated Spring Fling, brought to you by VLR. It's a familiar name if you've been watching iRacing content for a number of years. Tyler Hudson takes victory with John Fiddler, finishing in second. Matt McKinney in third, Virgil Graham fourth, and Alex Bergeron rounds out your top 5. going down the rest of the order, you have Drew Hirschcope, Tyler Ducarme, Chase Cabre, Randall Carter, and Jason George. Your top 10 backgrounds: Mike McKinney, Dylan Hauser, Austin Carr, Adam Elby, Josh Phillips, Garrett DeBruge, Shane James, Howard Weaver, Jeffrey Mays, Dan Smolders, Kyle Steffens, Jacob Fields, and Cole Newhoffen, the 24 cars who come home in this one. We are going to step away for a couple moments, take a short break, then we will be back here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live for post-race coverage and, most importantly, driver interviews. Don't go away. Well, it was a drama-filled event here at Knoxville. The first 50 laps pretty clean. A couple small incidents, had some yellow laps count. The second half of the race was a bit of a bloodbath with a lot of 1 to 2 lap runs that went quickly back to yellow. But I think a driver that was very happy about that is that 01 machine who takes home the victory of Tyler Hudson, and we're going to be joined by him right now.
Pick off one.
Tyler, it was a big win for you tonight. You look comfortable on the bottom. Luckily, you got a lot of cautions here in this one towards the end. Do you think you would have been able to hold on had that top groove come in?
Man, I appreciate it. I mean, the top groove was in, and then it just went away because it got so bumpy on the front stretch. So, and I was just the first one to go back to the bottom, and that's all that was. The cautions, I think, were actually hurting me at the end there because I'd pull out a little bit, and then we'd have to redo it and get in a rhythm, and then we'd have to redo it. So that's just racing, but still it worked out.
Tyler, talk about tonight, that bottom groove. It seemed like there was still a fine line in hitting that bottom groove right and getting a little too far into the slick. And if you got into the slick, it could be the difference in winning the race and finishing second or third.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The fiddler behind me he would enter lower and kind of stay lower, but when I did that, I had to wait longer to get the power down on the straightaway. So I was kind of diamonding it just a little bit to try and get the power down before he did on the exit of the corner, and I just launched down the straightaway. When you go under those bumps, it was just flying. So yeah, it worked out.
Talk about getting a race against such a tough competition like this. Just I know that you've won some big races in iRacing, but to come out and win this one tonight, everybody was gearing for this one. How special does that make that win?
Man, I've been thinking about this race all day. really, the last few days. Really, these are the best of the best on the dirt side of iRacing, and to come out here and win this race is just ranks up there in my top 3 best wins ever. I mean, of all time. So it means a lot to me. You know, it was crazy because at the beginning of the race, I'd fallen all the way back to last, and I was trying to go somewhere, but I was just stuck in like 24th. I couldn't go anywhere, and I'm like, man, these guys, they're just too good. And then it just worked out, stayed out of trouble, and found that bottom lane before everybody else, and the thing just took off.
Well, Tyler, we've seen you in top-level competition in the past, and you were getting hounded by John Fiddler for a long time. And while we're getting a world championship for these dirt guys, both in these super late models as well as in the sprint cars, you know, you've dealt with the sort of mental toughness of what it takes to win a championship in the past. What is your experience in these guys? You know, a lot of these guys haven't run a long race like this. How long do you think it might take for some of these guys to eventually get to that point and have that same sort of mental toughness that you show?
Man, I don't feel like I had the mental toughness there at the end. I mean, these guys are just, I mean, when you're good, they just got it. I mean, I was trying so hard to just focus, put everything out of my mind. And I told myself the same thing you're saying. You know, I've won a lot of big races, won a big championship. Man, I can do this. And I'd go in the corner on some of those restarts and just light the tires up just because of nerves, you know. So those guys, I mean, Fiddler was really, really fast. He kept it all together there at the end. He had to go to the top because I was blocking the bottom there. But, you know, he was probably maybe just a little bit quicker. So, yeah, you know, nerves may have got to some of these guys, but, you know, these guys, like I said, are the best of the best on dirt. They've all ran a lot of races and big races in dirt, so they know what they're doing.
16th to the win. What a night. What more can you say, and who do you want to thank?
Yeah, man, I appreciate you guys, VLR, for putting this on. You know, this is such a cool event. The promotion that went into it, the guys that put so much work into it, all the admins and everything, just big thanks to them, or this wouldn't be possible. And the guys at One Up Motorsports, those are the guys that make it all happen for me. And I got to give a special shout out to a guy named Daryl Haskell, who helped me out these last 2 days with this car right here that he built, really. And big thanks to him. He wasn't able to, I haven't been able to talk to him yet, but this is all because of him. So I appreciate it, guys.
Tyler Hudson, a very happy man. Thanks for joining us, Tyler. And we actually look forward to seeing you potentially run these cars later on down the line. We don't see you as often as we'd like, but whenever we see you in these super lates on RaceSpotTV, you put on a good show. So thank you very much. We hope to see you more in the future.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Real quick, thank the good Lord above, Jesus Christ, and you guys have a good night.
So, Mr. Tyler Hudson taking the big win away. Ben, he seems like a pretty happy camper to me.
Well, he's $1,000 richer, and again, the bragging rights. Money goes so far, bragging rights last forever. So great job by him. And I guess now we head to the guy that finished second, and man, talk about doing everything that he could, John Fiddler, and we'll bring John in for the interview. And that 0-2, he used every inch of that racetrack at the end. John, you left nothing out there, and you come up just a little bit short.
Yeah, I gave it everything I had. Tyler was so fast, and I had him on the bottom. I think I was a little bit quicker, but you just can't pass. So tried it on the top, and I should have done it earlier, but those bumps all the way around the straightaway is just treacherous. So it was a good race.
It seemed like you got to the lead, and once you got to the lead, actually, I might have jinxed you. I said, you know what, with John out front, I think he's going to be tough, but you're kind of disadvantaged because you don't know that bottom's coming in like that, it seemed.
Yeah, I thought I was too. You know, when I got up to the front and we had a couple green flag laps and I was pulling away and I was like, man, I think I might have this, you know, and then you look back and here comes Hudson out of nowhere and running the bottom, and it just shows you, you know, I don't really mirror drive quite often, and especially in something with this big and as much on the line. So he came really out of nowhere and showed me that the bottom was quick, so I went down there with him, but you know, like I said, you couldn't pass.
Well, watching that 02 car really work, what was your mind? Did you have any sort of inkling of the fact that you're running with someone like Tyler, who has so much experience running at a top level? You know, he's a PK Free Series champion. I talked about that a lot tonight. Was it something in the back of your head, knowing that he's run like this in big events like this in the past, and really trying to make someone make a mistake like that was pretty much out of the question?
Yeah, and even, I mean, yeah, Tyler's got a ton of experience. I mean, he's, like you said, he's fast. He's won a lot of big stuff, but he would come off the corners and just focus, and he would they hit the gas too hard and just smoke the tires, and that's where I would catch him. And I could drive through the middle of the corner a little bit better, but like I said, there was just no passing on the bottom, and I had to move it to the top.
I'll tell you what, John, it was entertaining to watch you, and at the end, man, I was sweating watching you work that steering wheel, so great job tonight. You've had success at Knoxville in the past, and we know that you're going to be a contender every time you roll into town.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'd like to thank my teammates in Elite 7 Racing. I think we had 3 or 4 in the top 10, maybe all 5. I'm not sure. And then you guys saw Dylan Fox's run earlier tonight. I mean, what a run by him! It was awesome. It's sad he didn't make it, but what a run! And my sponsors here at RaceSpotTV and Water Truck Productions, Drew Hirchko, and I got to thank Drew for making this setup for this car. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun, and I'd like to thank VLR for putting this on. This is a really, really cool event.
John, good job tonight. Again, man, nothing to hang your head about. Strong run against the best, and you're definitely one of the best. We can't wait till next time.
All right, I appreciate it. Also, hey, I just want to make a big shout out to our biggest fan, Elite 7 Racing, Tracy Poe.
Absolutely. Well, John Fiddler comes home in second, and man, Randy, he drove a great race tonight, and again, there was nothing left to be tried because he threw it all out there. And how about our third place finisher? He only passed 20 cars. That's all he did. Matt McKinney, what a run here tonight for you and your entries. You came forth through the pack to round out the podium.
Yeah, as you said, I started in the last row, which wasn't the most ideal place to start, but I didn't really think much of it. Just go forward, and the first 30 laps or so, just trying to save fuel and just see where we stood in terms of everybody else. But we got pretty lucky getting through the field. And at the end, I was definitely the third place car, and they were both running the bottom. I had no choice to try to make the top work, which I was figuring out throughout the race, but just couldn't get it together at the last 5 laps or so. But I'll take a third place for sure.
You and your brother Mike were a couple of the bigger names talking about this over the course of the event. You both started deep in the field. Mike started just a couple cars ahead of you in 20th. You rolled off 23rd. How was it watching you and your brother working with him, getting through the field? And I know at one point you guys are running 9th and 10th. How big of a potential mental help is that, knowing that you two, even though you're brothers, you can be competitive with one another, you both want to work together and see yourselves move forward? How sort of a relief is that?
Of course, it's nice to have a teammate, especially someone like your brother that you're close with. But he ran a good race today, regardless of what happened to him. But yeah, I mean, it's good because you can race, right? You can race each other pretty hard, but you can also try things out and maybe team orders here and there if it's needed. But yeah, obviously you try not to think about it too much. Obviously, he's your brother, and you have to talk to him at the end of the race. But, you got to race him like everybody else, which is what we do.
And now you got bragging rights because you outran him.
Yeah, I mean, he does a good job in the McCain Motorsports Modified, so, all I have is this sim race and stuff, which I got really lucky tonight, and I'll take it.
I think it was more than luck. I think Randy will agree. You drove a great race tonight, and, like I told John Fiddler, we really enjoyed watching you come to the front.
Really appreciate that.
It was a ton of fun. Before we let you go, Matt, fantastic show once again. Shout outs, who do you have to thank for the awesome night?
Yeah, I got a few people I got to thank. I got to thank the Level 7 team for a lot of input on this late model, trying to get it the best it can. I got to thank also James Edens and Justin Thomas for also their input on the car. I also have to thank VLR for putting this thing on. And there's a lot of time and effort into this thing, and you can, obviously there's things you don't like, but that's just what you have to deal with on virtual racing. But yeah, that's about it.
Well, there he was. Matt McKinney finished third. A big run for him, Ben. And well, he doesn't seem overly excited about it, but I think anyone who's done these sort of events in the past, doesn't matter if it's dirt racing or any sort of simulated event like this, you can tell that that's a voice of relief.
No, absolutely, and man, I tell you what, great job by everybody tonight. It's been quite the night. About 3 hours since the first green flag drop. But Randy, I don't know about you, I had a great time and really enjoyed watching these guys. I mean, it's anybody that says virtual racing isn't the real deal. It was very entertaining to watch these guys watch track change, and these guys are quite the competitors.
It definitely tends to be the situation. We're going to have a short chat with one of the people who is the brains behind this whole thing, help pretty much one of the big guys in getting this all together, Mr. Rocky Battenfield. Rocky, good to see your labor come through, and it's an amazing event that comes at the end of it. How are you feeling after such an awesome 100-lapper here at Knoxville?
Oh man, that was a blast. I kind of got stuck in admin in the back, so I didn't get to watch a whole lot in the front. But I've been in there talking to Tyler, and he was in the process of giving me his information so I could send him his money, and you guys moved me, so I guess I'll just keep it.
that sounds. Listen. I will give you some PayPal information where you can send the money, and it will be more than safe. But Rocky, it's been a fantastic event. Any chance we might see some more special events coming from the VLR group? I know with Dirt being somewhat new, we've not seen too many of these big one-off events, so to speak. It'd be amazing to see some events work their way down the pipe later on.
We've kind of talked about over the summer having a big modified show, and I think what we're really looking to do is have 4 a year, and just kind of call it our crown jewels, and just have big shows four times a year.
You guys did a great job with this one. It was an honor to be a part of it. Very entertaining to watch, and you definitely drew the attention of a lot of talented racers. And man, I tell you what, it definitely opened my eyes to exactly what's going on with this virtual racing. And man, these guys it's not going to be long for one of these guys winning these big checks tonight. It's going to be out there kicking everybody's butt on Saturday night at a big time dirt event.
Oh yeah, I mean, you get eyeballs on them, and I tell you what, I've seen a lot of real racers come in and say, man, this virtual stuff is legit, and the competition's better than you get anywhere else, and it's just awesome to really get some good coverage and get to do something big for these guys.
Thanks once again, Rocky. Hopefully us at RaceSpot can be involved with some of those crown jewels when you eventually start getting more of them down the line. For a year sounds like a nice, perfect number to me. But before we let you go, shout-outs for you from Race Control. Who helped you put this thing on? I'm sure you got a number of people to plug.
Oh, man, these admins tonight did an amazing job. I mean, you don't understand how difficult that job is. KT King is kind of the brains behind this whole thing, and he just, I don't know how he does it. I mean, he does video, he does social media, he helps set the rules for these things, and then he goes in and it kind of the main admin, and yeah, he just unbelievable. And thanks to all the admins tonight. Wow.
Well, there he is, Mr. Rocky Battenfield, brains behind the operation, and Ben, really, we have no one else to thank but him at the end of the day. It's a fantastic situation to have someone like this and really bring some of the big names onto the event, such as yourself. It was fantastic working with you for the first time.
Yeah, I had a great time, Randy, and thanks for working with the newbie here tonight. I hope everybody that watched along had a good time, and hopefully get to do this more in the future. Like I said, it was a top-notch operation, and definitely opened my eyes and had a great time. What better way to spend a Thursday night in a kind of chilly April than sitting here watching guys just duke it out at Knoxville Raceway, which probably got about 6 inches of snow on it right now, but tonight it was red hot.
Yep, we don't get snow where I live out here in it's not known for being cloudy or snowy in San Diego, but as someone who actually likes the cold weather, it's a little bit unfortunate. But at the end of the day, it was a fantastic run. And before I get to the outro, Ben, I know you're a very busy man in the real world. A lot of people maybe even tuning in because your face was on the flyer. Where can people find you in the coming days and weeks?
Coming up, racing schedule's going to get busy with Speed Weeks in Arizona behind us, so I'm sure I'll be out at some races announcing, and I'll be on CBS Sports on TV, and MAV TV got some events coming up. And then also, if you're looking for a website for your race team, your virtual or real one, check out MSRMafia.com. Mike McKinney, one of the racers tonight, and Ricky Thornton Jr., some of my clients are getting ready to come on board. So MSRMafia.com. I do websites for racers all over the United States and Canada as well as Australia. So check that out, and hopefully I'll be joining you again soon, Randy. Man, it was a total pleasure working with you tonight.
Yeah, hopefully we can put something together. We know there's things working down the line behind the scenes. Announcement pending, but until then, everyone else just have to wait and see what happened. Thank you all for tuning in on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live for coverage of the 11th annual X.CELERATED Spring Fling at Knoxville, brought to you by VLR. It was a fantastic event, and we couldn't be more thrilled to have given the opportunity to cover it. And well, and it ended up not disappointing whatsoever as Tyler Hudson takes victory. If you're not done watching sim racing content just yet, well, you're going to be sadly disappointed as we are done for the night. But we still have a busy weekend as we typically do on RaceSpot TV. Tomorrow night is iRacing Dirt Night on RaceSpot TV. Join myself, Chris Hone and Johnny Simone. We have midgets at Knoxville, Global Rallycross at Daytona, and the 360 USAC sprint cars take to Lanier. V8 Super Trucks, they're going to hit Phillip Island as the major series returns for the sports car showdown at COTA, and the Logical Classic IndyCar Series takes to the track at Sebring. So from everyone here at RaceSpotTV, we hope to see you tune into one of those events, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.